Hello, Philadelphia! I'm Bruce Buffer. It's time for the Anthony Gorgano Show!
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Friday to all across the Delaware Valley. A football Friday, but also a Phillies Friday. And believe it or not, a Flyers Friday. Yeah, we'll explain. It's a big day for the Flyers. Well, good morning. Hope everybody's having a great morning. It's a weekend. It's going to be beautiful across Philadelphia. And we are brought to you by Rite Aid. Rite Aid Family Pharmacy. It's Rite Aid. Get all of your scripts, all of your immunizations at Rite Aid. You can make your appointments, riteaid.com. Anything you need over at Rite Aid. All right, lots to get it started. Let's go Flyers first, because you're thinking, wait a second, it's week 2 of the NFL, college football week 3, Phillies Mets big series, and you're giving me Flyers, and I go, yeah, because this is the debut of the savior, and let's not get it twisted. The franchise is tied to Matvei Michkov. That's it. Like, he's got all the ability. He's a puppy. We understand he's young, but this whole franchise has you excited because you have a hopeful franchise player, and he's underway tonight in the Lehigh Valley. This is interesting, man. In Allentown tonight, you'll see the Flyers, Rangers, rookies go at it. I'm dying to see it. You got Michkov and Lubachenko, the draft pick, who's the center. So you get to see the kids play. I'm curious to see what it looks like. The other thing it symbolizes is really it's the start of sports season. Right? Not just football, and we love it. We'll get into Bills, Dolphins, and everything else, and of course Eagles Monday night. But this is sports season. Like, the minute football season starts, it ushers in pennant races in baseball leading into the playoffs, the start of the NHL season, and the start of the NBA season, and the confluence of 4 major sports: college basketball a little bit down the road. You look at it and you go, this is the best time of the year. It's sports season. That's what it ushers in. So tonight ushers in that Flyers rookies, and we're going to talk to Charlie O'Connor from our PHLY Flyers show and president of the Flyers, Keith Jones. So looking forward to talking to Jonesy about the excitement surrounding the kid, right? And so you saw the videos. If you haven't, you should check him out. I mean, you could just see he's got skill, right? Like, he's just got skill. And that's what excites you. Phillies tonight, it's a huge series. It really is. The Mets are hot. They come in. Now, it's not like you're worried about them not winning the division. This isn't any collapse situation. They're playing great baseball. They're a really good team, so there's no worry. But it's a good series because you're playing a hot team, and you could stick a fork in the Mets type of thing, right? The Mets and Braves are interesting because the Mets overtook Atlanta. Atlanta beset by injuries. They just lost Reynaldo Lopez after being decimated all season long. So, you get the Mets. It'd be nice to stop the Mets before they get any kind of outrageous momentum, because you always have one eye out for the hot team going into the playoffs. And I can't believe I'm saying that, but the Mets do have a decent lineup. I mean, I don't think their pitching's any good. Mets have a decent lineup. Clearly the Phillies, the Dodgers, and the Padres are the 3 best teams in the National League. But it's a good little taste. It's an appetizer of October, of Red October. Will happen, and we get Nola on the mound tonight. So Phil's Mets we got to discuss today. And In fact, last night I saw Topper. Rob Thompson, at a charity event for Dr. DePaci. So we had this charity event, and Rob Thompson was there, the great Charlie Manuel. So it was a nice night of Phillies managers. And, there was that Red October feel to it, right? Everybody's talking about it. So I think we're excited about that. And last night, Bills all over the Dolphins. And you know what's interesting is that the careers have kind of paralleled of Tua and Jalen. And you can see this year, Jalen has taken a markedly step up. I mean, it's one game, but the team around him, how you navigate it. I mean, Tua was awful. Like really since the Super Bowl, Jalen's going up, and it's kind of risen past Tua. That goes back to Alabama when Tua took Jalen's job. And then you watched him last night, and listen, he had the concussion and all, but he was wretched. He's horrible. You got Waddle, you got Hill, you got a Shane. I mean, what more you want? And look, his offensive line's not horrible. He makes some horrible decisions, though. I've never been a fan of Tua, and conversely, all people do is count out the Bills and tell you that the Bills were done. And look at them. No Diggs has helped them in a big way. Josh Allen, and I don't know how we talked about this. I guess ESPN did a player poll, and it was the most overrated quarterbacks. Josh Allen was number one. Jalen was number two. It's a poll for the players. I'm thinking to myself, how in the world could you call Josh Allen overrated? Like, all he does is win and can do anything on the field. I don't understand, because they lose to Kansas City or lost to Cincinnati. I mean, they're a perennial contender. So that happened last night. We got a full weekend of football stress-free, unless you're going to, I don't know, the Renaissance Fair.
How fair?
It's going to be a great time. It's going to be a great time.
So unless you're going to the Renaissance Fair, you get to relax and watch football all weekend. And we got our game Monday as the capper to the weekend. Good morning. Let's talk to our friends. JP, John Zapata, VG, Violations, Greg Caputo.
Buenos dias.
Good morrow, my lord.
Me lord.
How about Skeeves, our producer, drops right before the show,
like 10 seconds before we're on,
that he's going to the Renaissance Fair. And that he's dressing up like a pirate.
But are we surprised?
First of all, what Renaissance? Why were the pirates weren't there?
Is there even a port in like Buckingham or any of these? I don't know, these old Renaissance towns. Are there ports?
Manheim, PA.
No, you're right. You're like old England, where there are ports for these pirates to hop off.
Come on.
No, guys, he's embracing the skeeves. He skeeves, so he's trying to dress up like a pirate.
They got
There you go.
Right?
There you go.
They brought in
Good connection.
pirates to get them across the moats.
I mean,
like, what are these
he's
pirates
dressing
doing
up
here?
like a pirate. What? Like, can you imagine? Like, my man is going to get dressed up like a pirate and drink his grog.
There's so many cool things. Like, that's not cool things, but like a knight, or a blacksmith.
Yeah,
gonna be a pirate.
Blacksmith.
Yeah, man. Some pounds, some steel. Yeah.
Dress up
Yeah,
like a
really,
knight,
not
dude.
for nothing. He's right. You're questioning the blacksmith?
You gotta be a swashbuckler.
How do you dress up like a blacksmith?
With
an anvil?
Nice apron with an anvil and a
man.
like a sledgehammer.
Anvil? What are you
He did
talking
like
about?
a
It's like
brand,
500 pounds.
like an animal outfit.
Wear an animal.
Like a pelt? Wear a pelt?
Oh, yeah.
What's a pelt?
Like an animal pelt, Like
You gotta have like a pirate on
Dude,
your
I mean, how did you get roped into that?
I go every
He
year.
loves it.
Wait,
He
so
loves
yo, whose idea was it? You or your girl?
You went during
It
the
was
Sixers
actually-
playoffs, too.
It was actually her idea to go.
He went through the playoffs.
You remember that? He went to like, was it like upstate New York or upstate New Jersey?
No, I didn't go.
What, during the basketball playoffs?
I thought you did.
No, I didn't do that.
Right, I'm mistaken.
Not during the playoffs.
You have.
It's only this time of year that they have it.
Do you wear a
makes sense.
patch? Do you have a patch for your eye, a parrot for your shoulder?
No,
What's the
I got
pirate?
a sweet like sash, like headband thing I'm wearing.
Sash.
Like with a pirate shirt.
Is it Johnny Depp role play? Him and this lady do
Yeah.
some Johnny Depp role
Yeah.
play.
The guy liner too.
She's gonna go as like princess.
Man, I listen. God bless. You know what I mean? There's certain things I would rather stick needles in my eyeballs.
There's a giant
Dressed
pirate
like
ship.
You're like a pirate. There's all these cool guys dressed in like suits of armor. You're a pirate walking around?
There's a giant
a
pirate
fake
ship
pirate,
there
like a
that
pirate.
they sell beer on.
They sell beer in the pirates.
Yeah.
They get that. He's going to wild.
Minimal
West.
drinking.
Yeah, K-Red's right. We need pictures of this pirate get up.
Yeah,
I'll get you pictures
you need fit pics, all right?
This is when Sunday,
tomorrow.
On
Or
Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah,
Huh?
beautiful day too. Gonna be 85 degrees.
Oh, dude, you'll be sweating bullets.
Yeah, I mean,
Turkey legs and meat galore.
Oof.
Looking up.
Renaissance is
pickle on a
hot for
stick.
the Renaissance fair.
I
No?
know.
Yeah, pickle on a stick.
Yeah, they sell the pickle on the stick
Why don't you just hold the pickle?
because it's better on the stick. It's a big pickle, you know.
That seems
too much to
unpiratey
handle.
or
You're walking around with a pickle on a stick.
Wait a minute.
And you're trying to be a pirate?
Wait, you're holding a
Yeah,
turkey
man.
leg, but you need a pickle on a stick.
Dude,
you can't
yeah,
hold a
dude,
pickle.
I gotta tell you, I'm so out on the Renaissance.
Oh, you'd love it. You'd love it.
Oh, dude.
I'm out on the scene.
There's a joust.
First of all, why would you want to go back to that era of mankind?
It's awesome.
It's awesome.
What's awesome about it?
Sword fighting,
Dysentery.
And you're-
jousting, knights.
What
Yeah,
sword?
that's all right.
What
You're
sword are
pirating.
you carrying? Give me a break.
I'm a
I'm a-
buccaneer. I'm a buccaneer.
a
You're
claymore.
out of your
A
mind.
giant claymore.
Who wants to go relive that?
Dude, I'd rather watch South Alabama.
Hey,
versus
Yoko,
Northwestern
you want to
State
dress
this
up like
weekend.
Buccaneers and go up to Manheim, PA with me this weekend?
Oh my
You're missing
God.
out, man. It's gonna be a good time.
All right, I can't take it. All right, you just got to stay there. All right.
We got Phillies and Mets.
Please.
You going Renaissance Fair?
He's going right. It's a football weekend. Listen, I get you want to do things with your woman and have some fun or whatever. I don't know. Whatever.
No, don't ask
what
me.
am I? I don't know. I've always been out. I've had this Renaissance Fair conversation a million times. It's just not.
Well, we all do. I'm going to the macabre market this weekend.
What's the macabre market?
At Laurel Hill Cemetery. It's all,
No, I'll tell you. I got interested in
No,
the
you're
top
explaining
market.
this.
it's
What
all
is this?
like goth and okay, so it'll be
Okay.
pagans and tarot cards, but a bunch of goth stuff. So the
Dude, goth is
pagans
coming
like
back.
we're going
Where's
to
it-
the macabre
where's it
market,
at?
Laurel Hill Cemetery.
I will tell you that interests me more than the Renaissance Fair.
Oh, come on.
I'd rather go to the macabre market.
Get your tarot read where you can be like
Whatever. It's a
sword
macabre.
fighting.
I like the macabre.
You know,
can
cuz
go
be
buy
like-
some bones if you
Yeah,
want.
yeah. It's Halloween season.
No,
Yeah.
you know, cuz
You're
will go up and like, are the Eagles winning the Super Bowl this year?
Yeah, you can ask
No,
that. There's like soothsayers there.
Listen, it's we're Halloween season.
Yeah, that's right.
That makes sense to me.
I'm in the
Renaissance Fair.
Out on it.
I hate that. I couldn't even hate that. I seriously like that era of time.
Yeah.
That's a nightmare era of time.
When you're
Your lifespan. He's like, it was great. It was great. Your lifespan was 20. You died at 22.
Yeah.
when your kids were younger,
You got married at 12
Mosquito
and
bites
died
are-
at 22.
Mosquito bites are killing you.
Yeah, right? Oh, it was great. As he sits there now, what is his beard fake pirate outfit?
He's a mead guy.
You
Yeah.
can take a tour of the dungeon. They have all the torture,
go to dungeons.
the torture
Don't
machines
go
in
pirates.
there.
If you're a pirate, stay in theme, man.
Yarg.
Can we have we need to put a dungeon in his building.
I'm sure there is one, guys.
The Skeeks would be in there perpetually. All right, listen, we got
New York, anti-New York. We play the Rangers tonight. Play the Mets all weekend.
So like this is a fun time of the year because it ushers in obviously we're geeked up over football, but it's a fun time of the year, right? Like we got all of a sudden the Flyers matter.
Yes.
Right? Like the Flyers are going to be fun because they're going to be relevant. We have something to watch in Michkov, right?
We have
Like
hope,
Yeah,
cuz.
hope.
and by the way, you guys saw him. He looked great.
Yeah, he's got some hands.
Like he just looked like he's got skill.
got 300 people lined up before the doors open trying to get in to see him.
Man,
Yeah,
first
it's good.
practice, he tries the Michigan, the thing that Torts hates. And he said, screw it. I got the skill. Let's try it. Didn't work, but,
No,
cool to see.
but that's the fact that he's got skill, dude.
Yeah, man.
That's all I care about. no more mucker grinder, like skill.
A difference
But it's
maker.
fun. Like they're actually going to be relevant.
Yeah.
So I'm actually interested.
When's the last time you went to watch a video of a Flyer puck handling?
I know.
I don't even know. Like,
I love it.
It's a new world.
I do. I love it. So we'll talk to Charlie O'Connor coming up, and Jonesy is coming up, and Phil's Mets. Listen, not that I'm not worried, but there's always the one eye out on the hot team.
Yeah.
And they are hot.
They got the best record in baseball since the London series. They're 52-30.
Wow, are they really?
Yeah, they are.
They're 22 games over 500.
Since London. They didn't get the London curse at all. They're hot.
Dude. And you're going to be hungry for this one, too? The Phillies?
No,
If it wasn't for
always on
Ohtani,
base.
Lindor might be the MVP.
I know. Well, their lineup is good.
Oh, it's stacked with hate dudes for me.
Oh, totally.
Brandon Nimmo, Alonso.
Oh, I hate him.
hate Bader Harrison.
Yeah, Bader. Harrison Bader.
Sterling, Marte drives me nuts.
Yeah. No, they're a hate. They're a hate to face.
A lot of
Martinez.
Yeah, and they got like junk arms, but they're a pain in the ass, these arms.
Peterson.
Yeah, Quintana.
Yeah.
The worst
Quintana goes
Colombian
to
pitcher.
Marino.
Yeah, I hate them.
Yeah.
No, they're a hateable squad. Everything about them is a hateable situation.
Their song we were listening to earlier, the OMG song by
It's good to have the Mets. It's good to hate. Like I don't know what it is. I've always hated the Braves. The Braves are so much better of an organization.
Yeah.
But the Mets just elicit. They're pathetic, but they just elicit great hate.
It's those fans that come down here, I think, help. Check this out.
And they're not like the Yankee fans. They're like erudite.
Yes.
They're like baseball royalty.
Yes.
Right? In Steve's world, they're the Royals.
Yes.
Right?
The
Yes.
Royals.
Right? But the Mets are like the dirt balls.
Yeah.
Like the Met fans.
They are
like,
dirt balls.
They are. They're like the Strong Island.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, God.
Brooklyn.
Dude, I read this.
Queens.
This is unbelievable. 63 seasons together as major league franchises in the same division. The Mets and the Phillies. Only 10 years have they both had the same. Both of them had a winning record in the same year.
Wow.
That's outrageous.
10 times.
Yeah, that's
so this
incredible.
is like
That's a
a
strong
good time.
rivalry.
This is great for the rivalry.
Yeah, no, this is fantastic for the rivalry. Real quick, before we get to our pair of Bills and go see Charlie and talk a little Flyers. Bills last night over the Dolphins. I'm hearing people, and nothing drives me more angry, makes me more angry than hearing, "Oh, the NFL stinks." I've been hearing that like around town, but like
I don't understand
like
that.
football, you wait all spring and summer for it to come back,
Yeah.
and a week into the season, you're ripping it.
If you're saying that,
appreciation.
you just are ripping it. You're going in with a preconceived notion. You just hate
This
the
era
NFL.
of football
Yeah.
stinks. Gee, the NFL stinks. Yeah, what? It does not stink.
Yeah, Mahomes is terrible.
I mean, are you going to be kidding me? Like that drives me insane. We wait all like summer. Like can't wait for it. Can we enjoy it without ripping it?
Man, you got an advent calendar. Open up doors.
Yeah,
72
what makes
more
it
days
bad?
till football season.
yeah.
What makes it bad, though? Like, I'm trying to understand. Like,
It's bad quality. See what happens? You don't play in the preseason. All right.
Yeah,
well,
sure.
Well, so
Right.
what?
Yeah, give them 2 or 3 weeks to crank it up. It's going to be amazing.
It's football. You look forward to it like there was a game.
Wait, every
I had a charity event last night. I couldn't watch it, right? So I caught the fourth quarter, and I was like disappointed. I was actually going to rewatch the game, and I was like, I already saw the score.
Yeah, I was amped up for the meeting, and it was like, got away quick. I just went out for a beer. Yeah.
you know, what's funny is I guess I know why people didn't like it. We saw 2 fullback dives from the Dolphins last night.
Dig it.
How about it? How about it? All right, a couple things. Let's tell you about Primo Hoagies. Charlie O'Connor is going to join us in a moment to preview Allentown, Flyers and Rangers. Well, Primo Hoagies, you're looking for football food? Monday night is a monster night. We got the game Monday night, Eagles and Falcons. You got to feed people, man. So if you got to feed people, what are you going to do? Primos. Well, I tell you all the time. It is the football food of all football food, Primo Hoagies. All right? So do me a favor. In fact, download the app. Because if you download the app, you have a chance to win free hoagies for a year. All right, yeah, they're doing a big drawing. So download the new Primo Hoagies app. But look, you're going to invite people over. You could go get the party tray. So check out primohoagies.com. Look for the nearest location right by you and order the tray. The tray works. You also have all the pickies, the pepperoni and cheese, and all the stuff. People love it. All right, so make your guests happy. Order Primos. You'll say what I would say. It's not just a hoagie. It's a Primo.
It's allergy season. Man, I had a rough day this morning when I was walking the dogs at Ragweed's in town. Fall allergies are here. You know the culprits: sagebrush, tumbleweed, pigweed, ragweed, pirates, mead. Just hearing that's got me itchy. So, you know, when you're allergic, when you're exposed to these allergens, the body goes crazy. Runny nose, itchy, watery eyes, wheezing, coughing, foggy brain. So what do? How do you get some relief? Well, first of all, sign up for Ready Rewards emails at ready.com/rewards to receive email, pollen alerts, and allergen alerts for your area. Shower. Unlike those Renaissance fair people, please shower. And if you're not getting enough relief, there's a ton of over-the-counter options available at your local Rite Aid. Try a nasal rinse to flush out your nasal passages when your symptoms are flaring, and the histamines such as Claritin and Zyrtec usually do the job. And you can use those corticosteroid sprays like Flonase and Nasacort, and all of these are available in the Rite Aid brand. Saves you a couple bucks and just as effective. Still not enough relief? Ask a Rite Aid pharmacist if there's a different type of allergy medication you need, like maybe a decongestant, and you can always ask a Rite Aid pharmacist for recommendations on ways to get relief during allergy season.
All right, buddy. All right, let's do it. Flyers in the news, man. The rookie game tonight. Rangers, Flyers, Michkov debut. With us to talk about it from the All PHLY Flyers show. He does such a great job. Charlie O'Connor. Make sure you watch Charlie's practice videos. They are really good. I love them, Charlie.
Yeah, it's something we started last year, and this year, honestly, I'm really excited about them. They're usually only about like between 4 and 7 minutes, but our great producer Brenna, because this is the first season we're going to have Brenna from start to finish, is doing an awesome job adding video and images to the practice videos. So it's essentially like you're watching television. You're just watching it on YouTube.
Yeah, no, it's really good. It's good. It's really good stuff. All right, so let's talk about it. The big story, it's Allentown. You're there. It's going to be Flyers, Rangers, and it's all eyes on Michkov. Can you believe that we're talking about a rookie game, like preseason hockey rookie? But that's where we're at with the excitement surrounding Michkov.
Yeah, it was really cool yesterday because I've covered a lot of Flyers rookie camps. There is never an interest in rookie camp. You know, maybe a couple of the real prospect crazy people will show up to see the first round pick. But the thing is, they saw them all at development camp. So it's no big deal. Main camp, there's some buzz. When the team got worse, there was less and less buzz. But the main camp, there's some buzz. Rookie camp, there's never buzz. When I showed up to camp yesterday and I got there about 45 minutes early because they were opening the doors a half an hour early. So standing out there, and there was a line. There's a line of people waiting to get in, to get a glimpse
I
of
saw
Matvei
that.
Michkov on the ice.
It was like 300 people. Like, that's insane. That's insane, child.
It was really cool. And it's nice, you know, as someone who has covered this team during an era where the Flyers have not been very good and have certainly not generated much excitement at all in the greater Philadelphia area, it's really cool to see fans excited again.
I'm with you, dude. I think we've all been waiting for this franchise to kind of wake back up to life, right? Like, we've been waiting for them to come back from the dead. And, I mean, I think they have. We love the leadership. In fact, the president's going to join us coming up in about 6 minutes. So we love that. When you saw Michkov, just watching him handle a puck, like, he just pops. Like, you just go, wow, he's skilled. Like, that's the first thing that you see from him.
Yeah, it is. The hands, Ian LaPerriere, who coaches, former Flyer coaches the Lehigh Valley Phantoms, he's more or less running rookie camp. That's one of his jobs. And the first thing he said when you asked, well, what pops about Michkov? And he said, it's the hands, the quick hands. He just makes moves with the puck so quickly. And it's not that he is, someone who's going to be dangling through defense. He can. I wouldn't say that's the core of his game. But when he's in close and he has to fool a goalie to make quick moves to get the goalie looking one direction or moving one side versus the other, he can do it so easily. And it's just so nice for the Flyers to have someone with that kind of skill. Like, even, aside really from Claude Giroux, who was the one exception, over the last 10 years, this Flyers team has been filled with some good players, to be sure, but guys who are more on the side of they work really, really hard. They're forecheckers, they drive the net. And some of these guys are really good players. Like, I think of Wayne Simmons, legend in Philadelphia. He's going to be a Flyer forever. But, as much as I really enjoyed watching Wayne Simmons, as much as Flyers fans love Wayne Simmons, Wayne Simmons could never dream of pulling some of the moves with the puck that Matvei Michkov can. And the Flyers have so needed a guy with this kind of skill for so long, really since Giroux left. But even when Giroux was here, it would have been nice to have had someone next to Giroux who could make moves like Giroux could. Now they've got a guy who, at the very least can make the kind of moves Giroux did, might be even more skilled.
Yeah, you're spot on. Hey, who else are you looking at tonight? I mean, obviously Lubachenko will. He'll be the centerman on the line, right, with Michkov.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
what, kind of break down who we should be looking at, how we should consume this.
Luchenko is going to be one of those guys. Number one, he's going to be on the ice with Michkov, so he's going to be hard to miss because obviously everybody's tuning in to watch Michkov, and you're going to see this first-round pick who skates like the wind centering him. So he's going to be tough to miss. I'm watching a couple guys. Emil Andre is a guy I'm watching. He actually made the team out of camp last year. He's a defenseman. Played 4 games. It was pretty clear he wasn't yet ready for the NHL. They sent him down. But he got a glowing review yesterday from LePerriere, who basically said that this kid really worked hard this summer. He's quicker, he's faster, he's fitter. And I think this game, assuming he's in it, he might not be playing Friday. Maybe he'll be playing Saturday, not quite sure. But whatever rookie game he's in, he might be in both too. He's trying to use this as a springboard to make the team. And it's going to be tough. The defense is pretty much full. It's not going to be easy for him to bang the door down. But I got the sense yesterday they were opening the door crack, basically saying, hey, we like what you did in the summer. We like you as a player. Go out there and earn it. So if he has a big rookie game or 2 rookie games, depending upon how many he plays, because they're playing again Saturday, maybe he hits main camp with some real momentum and maybe he has a shot to make the team.
How about McDonald?
Ooh, Hunter McDonald. Yeah, he's definitely a dark horse. The Flyers love him. I'll give you 4-1 odds that when you talk to Keith Jones in a few minutes, he mentions Hunter McDonald because Keith Jones loves Hunter McDonald. McDonald's mean. He's a big defenseman. I think he checked in for camp at 6'4", 235. He's
nice.
Big and he is physical. The question is whether he's going to have the offense and the puck moving ability to stick at the NHL level, but the skating's NHL caliber and the physicality, the meanness, that is definitely NHL caliber. So he's a guy where if you like hockey for the rough and tumble stuff, I think you'll enjoy watching Hunter McDonald.
Wow, the meanness. Is he shot blocker?
I mean, when you're that big, I guess you're gonna luck into blocking shots,
right?
But I get the sense he's a guy where he knows his role. And if you're going to make it as a defensive defenseman who maybe is only going to score 15 points a year, you're going to have to block shots. So I would be shocked if he isn't a guy who buys fully into the John Tortorella, I will block anything I see type of shot blocking mentality.
Hey, Charlie, for us Zamboners, there's 25 prospects here. How many have a shot at making the team?
It's a good question. I mean, Michkov is making the team. So 1 is a lock. Unless Michkov gets hurt, and hopefully he does not, he's making the Flyers. Danny Briere straight up said that this summer. After him, I feel like everyone else at camp probably has a lower than 50% chance of making it. But there are probably about 7 or 8 guys that have at least a single-digit chance of making it, where it's not ruled out. It's just that they're going to have a really, really good camp, or there's going to have to be injuries that open the door for some of these guys. But there's a fair amount of guys, I would say, who could make it. Emil Andre's in the mix, Hunter McDonald maybe. Then you have Samu Tuamala had a really strong rookie year. Massimo Rizzo's on the older side, and if he pops in camp, maybe he takes a run at the spot. There are opportunities. It's just that the Flyers, the way they built their roster, I don't know if there's any open spots aside from the one that Michkov is going to slide right into, because that's a spot they essentially opened up by buying out Cam Atkinson this summer. The other guys are going to have to earn it by going above and beyond with their play in camp and in preseason games.
I got to ask you about Massimo Rizzo since I have a Massimo at home. I'm going to root for Massimo. All right. Does he I know he is older. Does he have any hope at carving out something?
Well, I think with Rizzo, what's fascinating is I think we're going to find out pretty quick, and not necessarily in camp, but we're going to find out pretty quick this season whether he's got it or not, because he's a guy where he's kind of a boomer bust prospect. He's a little small. He's not the fastest guy, but in college he put up really, really good numbers.
Yeah, I saw that.
With guys with that profile, a lot of those guys hit the pro game and it just doesn't translate. And pretty quick, you're like, oh, he just can't do it. He could score a ton in college. He can't score a ton in the pros because he's not big enough, not fast enough, not strong enough, whatever. And then within a couple months, like, oh, he's just going to be a good AHL player.
Gotcha.
But some of those guys hit the pro game and it translates. Like the guy I think about, in obviously a different position, Shane Gostisbehere. I heard, all throughout his time at Union, like, oh, he'll never be able to do that in the pros. Yeah, that'll work in college. Never in the pros. And then he hit the pro game and he was able to do it. And then you just thought to yourself, oh, this guy isn't just going to be, a third pair defenseman. This guy could be an impact guy. And for quite a few years he was. We're going to find out very quickly if Rizzo can translate. And if he can translate it, then suddenly it's like, hey, they might have a scorer here. So he's kind of a boomer bust guy. I like him, and I'm watching him. I don't know, and we're going to see.
Well, listen, Chow, enjoy the weekend. It's so great about the relevance, man. This is a great time. Yeah. We got the president coming on, so we're gonna get geeked up with Jonesy coming up next.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Anthony.
Thanks, Jonesy. Thanks, Charlie.
Jonesy on the brain.
I got Jonesy on the brain is right. This portion of the program brought to you by the Bet Sportsbook and online casino app. And let's welcome the president of the Flyers. Oh, look at that picture. Isn't that great?
Nice picture.
He's on the phone with us right now. He is the great Keith Jones. Jonesy!
How you doing, Ant?
Dude, we're pumped up, man. Like, when's the last time that you got requests to talk about a rookie the first day of the first rookie game of camp?
Well, I can tell you the entire time that I did radio at your old station, we never talked about a rookie that was coming to town. So that was over 20 years that I was there. It never came up. Even when Giroux was drafted, he was drafted in the 20s. Became a great player, but the expectations weren't necessarily that he was going to be, the player that he became. So this is different for sure. It's fun. It's exciting for all of us, and it's just a really neat time to be a part of the Flyers franchise.
What pops about him, man? Like, now that you've gotten a chance to be around him, to kind of just see him, just skate. Like, what pops about him?
Well, his brain is off the charts as far as how he sees the game offensively. I believe that he's extremely committed to being great. I mean, most of us just wanted to get there, but he wants to be great. So there's a willingness kind of to do whatever it takes so far and what I'm seeing from him. And everything he does on the ice, whether he's out there by himself, whether he's skating with future teammates, everything he does is with a purpose. It's something that it's just something unique. It's something you don't see all the time. I play with great players. I played on the same line as Forsberg and same line as Sakic, same line as Lindros, Leclerc, and they all had those qualities. But I've never witnessed the 19-year-old come in with it. Like, I'm sure they did. I'm sure they had that, but I played with them when they were in their prime. So this is kind of a neat thing to watch and try to project, but at the same time, keep expectations in check just because of his age.
Of course. And listen, I know that's going to be like part of the messaging that, hey, everybody, you can't expect too much too soon. But I love what you just said, because being around great players, and it doesn't matter what sport, there is a uniqueness about how they attack it, right? Like Kobe had these qualities from very young. Like I can imagine Forsberg, who, still has them to this day, right? Like the guys showing up in the middle of the night to shoot pucks and all kinds of things. Like all those guys that did things differently, and it stands out to you, right? Like no matter what sport it is, the quality stands out. There's a vibe about that. It sounds like Michkov has this vibe about him.
Yeah, and that that's one of the unique things about this whole situation is the Flyers for many years, especially prior to the salary cap, brought in those type of players, but they were in their prime. They'd already, or in some cases, past their prime. The Jeremy Roenick's, the Jaromir Jagr, who came in and was so impressive by not just what he did on the ice, but how he led by example off of the ice, how he made sure he went the extra mile with everything he did in the gym, everything he did to dedicate himself to be the greatest player that he could possibly be. And, that's what you hope for from players. It's, I think everybody approaches it differently, but superstars do have something about them. And Kobe Bryant's a great example of that. But, we're hopeful that that's what the type of player Michkov becomes, but all early indications are that he has the talent and the willingness to do whatever it takes to get there. So it's good to be excited about it.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting is and you nailed it. Listen, the Flyers, especially when Ed had the Flyers, would always tried, right? No matter what. And every great player in the NHL, like beginning with Darryl Sittler, right? At some point, Paul Coffey became a Flyer, right? Like at some point. But now we actually got like a young prospect, like a talented prospect. And the last one's Lindros, Jonesy.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And, you saw the great lengths that the team had to go to get him. He wasn't their draft pick. It was a huge trade. It was battled out with the Rangers to see who eventually was going to get him. There was a lot of money involved. Like there was so much that went into getting Lindros here. To be able to draft, Michkov with a 7th overall pick was, something that we feel very fortunate about. So we don't take it for granted, and we know that it's important for us to, make sure that we bring him up in the right environment, that we have players around him to insulate him, players that he can learn from. And I think there's going to be players that learn from him. I think it's awesome that he's out there with all our rookies, that he's going to play in the game tonight. They get a chance to see how he operates, how he prepares, what he puts into, the process of getting ready for a game, and then what he does when he's out, most importantly, on the ice. So it's great for our younger guys to have a good opportunity to get to know him, and good for him to have the chance to get out there and show his stuff as this, the early part of training camp gets going.
Has it helped having his mom and his little brother with him?
Yeah, no doubt. I think it's a huge thing, and unfortunately, his father, tragically passed away about a year and a half ago. So Matvei is, in a position where he's, being there for his mom as much as she's being there for him, and he's being there for his younger brother as well. So he's impressive in the way that he cares about the ones he loves. And I think that's going to be the type of player and person he's going to be here with our team. So he's a special young man.
That's awesome. Who else, Jonesy, are you looking forward to? Lubachenko will be on the ice with him. He's very fast. How do you kind of look at his game so far?
Yeah, the best part about his game is it's mature already, and he's really young. He was one of the youngest players in the draft last year. He has the makings of a complete player as far as his ability to play in all three zones, which is so critically important for a centerman. He's very sound defensively, and he is one of the fastest players in our organization. So we have some speedsters like Owen Tippett. There's no question that he can flat out fly. But Luchenko is going to, as he continues to get stronger, is going to be right there with Tippett and maybe even, go past him, which seems impossible because I think Tippett had one of the fastest shifts in the NHL or rushes up the ice last year as far as the way they record those things now. So Luchenko is like a very important player for our future. We need centermen and we need guys that can play with top players. And I do believe that's what he's going to develop into. It's going to be interesting to watch his development, and we'll be watching him closely. But I really appreciate the things that he already has in his game. And I think it's going to translate well to the NHL. And then we'll see how far that ceiling is. But there's a lot there.
Oh, wow, I got me excited, man. Listen, we've been crying about speed and skill forever, right? Like we've been crying, we got to get fast. We got to get speed. And man, I mean, skill and speed, you're adding to it. Like this has got you. You wonder why there's, a couple hundred people waiting for practice. You wonder why it's week 2 of the NFL. And I'm like, we got to get Jonesy on, man. We got to talk about this.
Yeah, it's great. And I really appreciate you talking about it as well. So I know how much of a battle it can be in this city to get, hockey on the radar. But I do believe that the excitement around this kid is going to be worth it. And I do think it's going to be the start of, helping us put the Flyers back on the map. I thought last year was a really good stepping stone as far as getting things established, as far as, where we set a standard for our players to play and work to. And, the probably all too often used word culture, but yeah, those things do matter and how people feel around our locker room and how our coach drives these guys to come in incredible shape like they're in right now. All those things will give us an advantage this year. And I'm really excited about where this is all heading, but also patient at the same time and recognizing it's going to take some time.
Hey, Keith, VG here. After the Michkov move, my second favorite move that you did was reinstalling Van Halen's Ain't Talking About Love as the goal song. Will that come back this year in 2024? Will we have Van Halen again?
You know it, buddy. And I'm not the music guy, but I'll give you the truth. I'll give you the truth behind that. Brian Boucher texted me after one of the early games in the preseason last year, and he hated the goal song. And I said, I don't know anything about music. You tell me, what do you like? So he sent me his choice. So if you don't like it, that's Brian Boucher's fault because he's behind.
I love it.
That's where that came from. So we're willing to listen. There's no doubt about that. Even Bruce got a say in what's happening as far as how we celebrate goals.
That's fabulous. That's fabulous. Hey, Jonesy, who else kind of are you excited to watch this weekend for people to kind of follow along? I know you love McDonald. I mean, he's a monster. Who else are you anxious to see?
Yeah, Oliver Bonk's someone I think our fans are going to really appreciate watching as well. His development last year was, probably even greater than what we could have projected after we drafted him. He's a pro. It's going to be a difficult thing to keep him, heading back to juniors, but that's ultimately where I see him going. But I want to make sure that he comes in here and, understands that the world is his oyster, that he can do some special things on the ice. So he's somebody we can really, focus in on. I really like a couple of the young kids from last year that played in the minors. Tuamala's one that's really showing that he put the work in this offseason. Emil Andre looks great. He looks in kind of in a different type of condition. It looks like he put a ton of work in the off season to get himself ready for things that he learned that he needed to work on last year, which was so important to come over and develop in the American Hockey League. That league is a great league for players to develop at all positions, and I think it's an important part for a lot of our young guys to go down there and learn what it is going to take to be a professional athlete. So I think there's some good things that have been learned from a lot of our young players, and there's a lot to look forward to. There's been 2 years in a row that I feel like we've come away with some really important pieces to our future through the draft, and these guys are continuing to develop. So it's an awesome time of the year.
It is, brother. It's the best. Listen, the journey begins tonight. This is awesome stuff. We're gonna have a lot of fun. And see, there's nothing better than following a team from the beginning on the ride.
Yeah.
Right? Like the ride, it's like a roller coaster, and we're just getting out of the gate. So it's a lot of fun to follow along with young players and see a team build. So this is fun, man. So I wish you a ton of luck, brother.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on, guys. Keep up the great work, too. It's awesome. Good job.
Thanks,
See you, boys.
pal. Here he is. Jonesy!
Let's go, boys. Let's go, boys.
Let's go, boys.
I'm already on the ice now. Let's
He's
go.
the best.
Yeah.
No, like I love finally there's a build. There's something to follow along with, Like that's the key to this thing.
It's new. Listen to what they're talking about. Is this like Colorado or Vancouver? We're talking about speed and stick handling.
I know.
West is Philadelphia.
Right? Like the Western Conference.
Yeah, come on.
I'll go as far as saying this. The Flyers have been so down as of late. I'm more excited about watching Michkov than I was during the Carson Wentz rookie year, during the Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid rookie year. I'm out here seeking these practice clips that we have online.
Yeah, it was funny. I was
So
thinking
much
the same thing where I just wanted to see him. Like I'm anxious just to see him. And it's interesting what he said, what Jonesy said about him. Like the great athletes, and I brought up Kobe as an example. Like you just knew it.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a certain vibe about them, things that they can do. Listen, I don't care what anybody says. Embiid has it. Embiid had that from the beginning. I remember one of the first times he was healthy enough and he practiced. Mm-hmm. He dominated everybody. Like he just had something about him that when you're that good, AI, right? Like there's certain guys. Like even in baseball, you look at Bryce, and Bryce is a true superstar. Like just everything around. Like there's an aura around guys. And you see it from the beginning, like when they're young.
And it's going to add to October. I hate to look too far ahead, but think about it. Phillies in the playoffs, Eagles full swing, and then now you're on Michkov watch too.
Michkov, Sixers will start.
Oh yeah, great Sixers team too.
I mean, this is going to be this is fun. This is the ultimate
this.
4 for 4. Damn right we do.
We deserve this for sure.
Damn right we do. That's it. All right. Look who's back.
Oh,
Sandro
is he back?
He's-
So nice of him to join us.
He's back from the south of France and his world excursion. Of course, he is the Bet Parks analyst for all things sports. The brain.
Brain. Red the brain. Feinberg.
Brain, good to see you, man.
Oh man, good to see you, man. I missed you guys. How you been?
Good, buddy. How's Eric?
Yes. There we go.
Look at the salmon shirt. He's
Look
got
at
the
salmon
bag.
shirt.
He's holding the bag.
That's a bag of money in there.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
best bets,
look it up.
baby.
And what is that? A swimsuit shop?
He's South Shore
You know what's
Bay.
funny? I got to tell you something. It's funny because I know you guys post when I do that. When Victoria posts that stuff, you put stuff. I'm always like, oh my god, what are they going to put up there now?
No one's safe here, Brad.
Yeah, no, I know. I deserve it. No, I deserve it. I own it. I own it. But no, we did a great trip. I know you said you haven't
should
been
own
to
it.
South France.
You got enough money to own it.
Yeah, no, but it was really fun. I love it. Monte Carlo is beautiful. Saint Tropez is great. Cannes is amazing. Again, Italy, probably my favorite, but I really think a close second. It's the south of France. Anyone has a chance to go, I recommend it. By the way, Anthony,
You
great call.
recommended. I mean, listen,
He's going out on a limb here. He's going out on a limb recommending.
Well,
Listen, there's a better class of people than play. That's out of Fred.
No, but last time we spoke, Anthony, again, you're wearing the shirt. You gave it out. You said Colorado will get routed. And yeah, your boy got it done. I mean, great call by you. Nebraska, I got to tell you, I was looking at them, Anthony, at 30-1 to win the Big Ten. Because Ohio State, I know they have that $20 million team, and I think they should win.
Right.
Obviously, Penn State's good. But, I mean, it seemed, I don't know. I think Nebraska, I like them this year. I think maybe it's not too big of a leap.
Well, I'll tell you this. Raiola, the quarterback, Dylan Raiola, is the truth. The kid is a player. First thing, when I talked to Matt after the opener, the first thing he said was, dude, we got a quarterback. Like, he's beyond excited to actually have a quarterback, which is, he didn't have in Carolina. You know, I mean, his best quarterback in his career was P.J. Walker. You know, I mean, think about it. So he was excited. He's like, dude, this kid's a blue chipper. You just see him. So yeah, they're good. They're gonna be good. Next year they'll be really good because that's when they'll have most of his kids in there.
Yeah. Yeah, but again, I think that's not a bad long shot to do. Again, I'm not saying it may be too big of a step in 1 year.
No, I know. I think it's a good pizza bet. What are they on the?
I saw like 25-1.
Yeah.
Last I saw when I was there, maybe it's 30-1, something in that area. But I was contemplating it just because I'm like, you know what? It's not like any of these teams are like LSU of, you know, when Joe Burrow was there, right? Or you know, it's like these unbeatable teams, or maybe like Alabama when they had, you know, Devonta Smith and you know, Mac Jones and some of the Najee Harris, all those teams. Like, it doesn't seem like there's a team that's just that dominant where you're like, okay, maybe Nebraska can sneak in and maybe do something good. Even Penn State last week, Anthony, we saw, you know, after the big win against West Virginia, you know, they were in a scrap fight of all scrap fights.
I mean, I'll tell you, we're talking college football. I mean, does it get worse than Notre Dame losing that game?
No, but you can call me whatever, but I had a big smile. I know I root against Notre Dame. And I don't know why. I can't help it. Just my Michigan side. But yeah, listen, that was
that's exactly why. Speaking of which, you can't smile about that loss after what happened in Texas.
No, but let me say something. But let me tell you this. I'm very fair. If nothing else, I'm very fair. Listen,
you're always fair.
They won their national championship. I don't know if I've ever won another one in my lifetime here, so I'm going to enjoy it. We're still national champions. So, you know what? And you know, it's like when the Phillies won the World Series in, you know, 2008. I'm like, all right, I'm not picking on them. I don't
right.
But Michigan, they have a free pass. They can go 0-12. You know, I mean, I'm not picking on them. But look, Texas is a better team, Anthony.
They're a great team, Texas. Yeah.
Texas is a better team, whether Harbaugh's there or not there. You know, Quinn Ewers now Heisman Trophy leader. So, you know, Texas is going to be really good. I mean, you know, look, we saw Michigan just didn't have the offense to keep up, but that's okay.
All right. Let's get into, because since we're on college football, what do you got for tomorrow? And then we'll switch to the NFL.
Yeah, Anthony, look, I'm going to start with the game where, you know, may surprise. Look, Oregon was a team. What I said, Anthony, I've said, I look to adjust if I see something that just doesn't seem right. You know, Oregon to me has not, these two games, I've been extremely disappointed with them. Last year, interesting stat, they allowed 5 sacks all season, Anthony. This year in 2 games, they've allowed 7.
Yeah.
Now, Oregon State's played 2 not great teams, but they've dominated the 2 teams they played last week. They beat San Diego State 21-0. On the yardage, they've just destroyed the teams in the yardage they played. 16 points. I'm going to take Oregon State. I just have not liked what I've seen out of Oregon.
Yeah.
It's now been 2 games in a row, not 1 game. You know, I'm like, okay, like I think 16 points is a lot, and I think they can keep this one close.
Why they play this game tomorrow and not the day after Thanksgiving? I mean, the weekend after Thanksgiving is the rivalry weekend.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
You know what's funny, Anthony, with everything that's switched in college, that's a great question. You're right. That was always one of the great rivalry games.
Mississippi State,
Washington State. You know, like it's like what, you know, why are these things happening the way that they are? But it's just a different a different world now where that's just the way it is. Washington State, same thing.
Yeah.
But another game I think I'm going to give you, and look, you mentioned them a second ago. You talked about Notre Dame. Now it's interesting. They had the big win against A&M. Well, may or may not even be that great of a team. Then last week, again, that's an all-time loss. But I got to tell you, Anthony, watching the quarterback Leonard, who obviously was coming off an injury, I liked him at Duke. I watched him play a bunch there. I thought he was a really solid quarterback. He just doesn't look right to me. This Notre Dame team, I don't really know how good they are. Hudson Card, to me, is that proverbial guy, veteran guy that's been there.
I don't think the problem's Leonard. I think the problem is they don't have explosive players on the outside. They don't have
that's another issue too.
They don't have speed. Like you got it, especially we're just talking about it with Jonesy when it comes to hockey. In football, you need speed on the outside. You got to get spacing on the field because I think Leonard's good. I just don't think he's got enough.
No, I think he is good.
He's got a running back where he's got no receivers.
I don't think we've seen the best of him yet. At least the guy I saw at Duke. But here's the thing: like Purdue, again, I think they're a decent team. And Hudson Card, look, he started his career at Texas. Obviously, Texas had a zillion quarterbacks, and he felt the need to further his career. He had to leave. And now, when I see a guy there, I'm like, okay, I think he's a serviceable player. You're getting 10 points.
Yeah.
You're getting 10 points. And I got to be honest, like, I thought this line, again, maybe we've seen Notre Dame play twice now. And again, they beat A&M, but I really don't know what to make of A&M. I don't know if it's certainly a good win, but I thought this line, I don't really think it should be over a touchdown, quite frankly. Yeah, I think Purdue, again, you talk about pizza bets, Anthony, sprinkling money lines. I won't be shocked if Notre Dame loses 2 straight games here. I really won't.
Yeah.
I will not be shocked. Anthony, I'll give you a total. 2 teams playing in the top 10 paces in college football this year. One will not surprise you, is Ole Miss. The other is Wake Forest. Look, I think Ole Miss doesn't score a lot of points in this one. I think they will get mid-40s higher themselves. Hank Bachmeier, guy who got again another veteran quarterback. We're talking, played at Boise State, wasn't great. La Tech, not great, but a veteran guy. At least it's his 5th year, 6th year, whatever it is now. I think there's going to be points scored in that game. I think both teams will get in the 20s. Obviously, Mississippi's going to get in the 20s. But I'm saying I think that game will be played in the 70s, not the 60s.
Yeah, I could totally see that. All right, NFL last night. Oh, my. Listen, I hope he's all right. Not a concussion. But he's horrible. He's the most overrated quarterback. I've never been a Tua fan. We've talked about this. And, he made a couple bad decisions. And conversely, all they do is rip Josh Allen. And all he does is he does everything. He was named the most overrated quarterback by a poll of NFL players.
Well, I've never heard anyone, and Anthony, you know more than me. But I've never heard anyone say anything other than the guy is the most fabulous player in the league. Well, I've never heard anyone say anything bad about Josh Allen. To me, Josh Allen, he's the second best player in the world to me. And you want to argue he's the best? Well, yeah, you cannot. I guess you can, but to me, he's the second best player in the world. He is. You know what he is, Anthony? To me, he's the modern day. You're in exactly my era. We grew up the exact same time. He's the modern day John Elway. That guy who had good ability, had the arm strength no one else had. It was kind of a one-man team where he just carried that team to 4 Super Bowls or 3 Super Bowls. Yeah, they lost, but then he won them, obviously. But the point being, John Elway, people forget how he was just a franchise. Say a franchise quarterback. John Elway was a franchise. Yeah. Josh Allen is a franchise player. He is you put him out there, he's like LeBron James. He's a Mack truck. I would never say anything other than the guy is spectacular. I can't believe someone said he's overrated.
NFL players. There's a poll of NFL players. It's amazing. Now,
you see my facial reaction. I find it just bizarre.
Yeah, it's absurd. We talked about the game yesterday. I liked the Bills outright. The line was only 2.5. And
the Bills in the teaser.
I think looking at taking away Diggs, which just didn't work, and going to a run game, which they did, and obviously there were turnovers early that played a part in it. But listen, they can run the ball and they can grind you out, and they have deep. Like they still need another weapon. they better hope that Coleman turns into something. That Shakir is their guy, but they need a little upgrade there. But other than that, I mean, they're still a good team.
Hey, Brad.
Well, it's interesting. I think I bet the Bills under 10.5 before the year. I can still now. It shows you what a good bet that was, in my opinion. You know what the over/under is now?
What?
10.5. So I'm like, all right, here they just beat Miami on the road. I'm going to bet over 10.5 now because I'm like, all right, you're going to let me get out of this bet. Thank you. I'm gladly going to get out of my bet on that. Say, okay, whatever. Listen, you're right, Anthony. He is just such a franchise player, and it's like that to me is like a great, great player. And you put him with almost anything, and obviously he's NFL players. McDermott's obviously a good coach. As long as 17's there, they're going to be tough.
Yeah, listen to this stat, Brad. I don't know. You may know it. It's after last night. It's 43 games since the Bills have lost by more than 6 points in a game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Great stat.
They're always in it when he's a quarterback.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, that is absolutely, that is a crazy stat. But yeah, that shows to the testament of how good Josh Allen is and what he brings to a team. So yeah, again, overrated. That's in fact, if anything, again, you took away his quote unquote all world receiver, right? People look at their quote unquote skill players. They're saying Matt Collins, right, Anthony?
Yeah.
Matt Collins. Okay. It's like no one can accuse the Bills of having an abundance of skill players around them, but you know what? He's like, I will get it done myself. He is, and he's the modern day John Elway.
Yeah, it's a great comp. All right. Well, what do you got tomorrow? What do you got Sunday for us?
Well,
Monday
look,
we'll do Eagles. All right. So Monday we'll dive in and look at props and look at everything. We'll dive deeply into the Eagles game. But what do you got for Sunday?
What's interesting, a big handicapper released who moves markets. He released Detroit laying 6.5 against Tampa Bay. Now, I just think, again, 7.5 now. I like Tampa Bay. I do. And he moved, again, because of this guy, he moved the line 1 point. I don't think it deserves to be moved the point. Baker Mayfield, Anthony, look, I got to give the guy his due. I think I don't think he's ever going to be the number one pick. Obviously not that value, but I got to give the guy credit for taking his career, which looked like it was in the toilet bowl, and he's resurrected himself and is a decent NFL quarterback. I'm not overrating him, but I think with they played in the playoffs, and that was a 50-50 game, if you remember, against Detroit. I don't really see why necessarily. I think there's an injury to Winfield, who obviously will hurt Tampa Bay, but I don't necessarily know why Detroit should be over a touchdown favorite in this game. I'd say Tampa Bay keeps this one respectable. And then, Anthony, listen, I said last week my favorite game I thought was Minnesota against the Giants. I think Minnesota's going to have a good year, and I know you're going to be upset. I have a weird hunch. I don't know why, and I'm sure Coach Rule would give me a million reasons why I'm, not accurate on this. I think Sam Darnold is going to have a career year, whatever a career year is for Sam Darnold. It doesn't take much for him to have a career year, right? But Anthony, this is why I say this. You look at their coach. He turned Joshua Dobbs into a 4-week stretch where he was like player of the month, basically. And Nick Mullins.
No, I agree.
Nick Mullins had 3 straight 400-yard games. So I'm saying to myself, there's something about this coach, and I try to be fair and objective.
No,
and
he's good. He knows what he's doing. Listen, I got you.
Yeah, and I think coming off, look, Monday night was a great performance by San Fran. No McCaffrey again. No, McCaffrey I think is arguably one of the best players in the world. Again, it shows Shanahan with his system and everything. You just have to respect.
Yeah, I like Minnesota. Minnesota at home, I think they're live.
Getting 5. They beat them last year, by the way. You could say revenge, but I think Minnesota's good. I love their skill players. I think that their skill players, I'm not going to say they're as good as the Eagles, but I think Aaron Jones is terrific. I think he's much better than Josh Jacobs, side note. But, I mean, to me, Addison, Jefferson, those are great receivers. And Jones, I think this team can keep this game close. And I won't be surprised with everyone telling Frisco how great they were last week. If Minnesota wins one outright, Anthony, I really wouldn't be.
No, I got you. My only fear with the Niners is they are dominant in the trenches. So they're dominant. Their D line is ridiculous. That's what controlled the game. I mean, listen, I think the Jets are going to have a decent year, but they were more physical. They dominated. First of all, they pushed Rodgers, right? They dominated the Jets O line, and then offensively, I mean, they have a great O line, man. That's the one advantage that San Fran's scary is that both fronts are really stout.
Nathan, you're being totally fair, but and by the way, again, like this opened at 6. I bet this at 6.5. I still like it at 5 though. Look, my numbers, I thought it would come in right around here, but we talked about, I like the situation coming off that big game.
It's a great spot for the Vikings.
I think Minnesota can win the game. And I'll give you a teaser, Anthony. While I actually like the Raiders side with the points getting 8.5, that may not make sense, but I like the Ravens and the teasing down to 2.5. And I like them teasing them up with the Broncos against Pittsburgh up to 8.5. I think that's a 50-50 game, that Denver game against Pittsburgh. And I think it's, you want to give me 8.5 points. Pittsburgh, again, I give them credit. They beat Atlanta last week, but we'll talk about. I look forward to talking about the Atlanta game with you on Monday. But I think that's a teaser that's worth playing because I think Denver keeps that game 50-50, and I feel pretty good that that they win that game. That Ravens would beat the Raiders at home.
All right, let's take props. Any props you got? You're king of props.
Yeah, I'll give you some. CJ Stroud, I think Anthony goes over 1.5 passing touchdowns.
Oh yeah.
Listen, I will take him, Anthony, against anyone to get 2 passing touchdowns with those receivers. I really, really will. I'll give you Brandon Cooks under 48.5 yards, Anthony. Look, with Brandon Cooks, he's gone under that since he's been in Dallas 15 to 20 times. It's a CeeDee Lamb show. I don't think Cooks is anywhere near their top. Well, he isn't. He's nowhere near their top receiver. I would have made that closer to 41, 40. I think 48.5 is a little bit too rich.
How about Kupp? I mean, you saw it last week. Without Naku, he's going to get a slew of targets.
Yeah, his over-runner for catches is 7.5. It's been baked in, Anthony. You're paying full retail. I mean, it's 7.5 catches. But
he's double digits.
It could be. It should.
Because they do a lot of. He does a lot of short stuff too.
He does. Listen, he absolutely does. And look, you got to tell you something. You talk about coaching. I mean, what the Rams are missing linemen, and they played Detroit basically to a standstill.
I know.
Without Naku, for me, I was certainly impressed.
And he had O-line issues.
No, I said they're missing 5 starters.
I know.
They're missing the whole offensive line.
It's unbelievable how he schemed, and that was a scheme piece all day.
I got to ask you a question, Anthony. Just real quick. I know you got to let me run, but I'm curious something. A comment that just you hear a certain comment from a quarterback, you say to yourself, I want to know if maybe I'm overrating it. I want to know if you took anything from it because you have a great spidey sense with these things. Did you see the Marvin Harrison Jr. thing with Kyler Murray by any chance? Did you see Murray's comment, guys? Did you see what he said?
What did he say?
He goes, it's not my job to get him the ball and force it, to get him the ball. That's not my job as a quarterback. And I'm thinking to myself, here's a guy who's the most hyped guy to come into the league. I don't know, receiver. They think the guy's the all and be all. He has 1 catch for 3 or 4 yards. And he's like, it's not my job to get him the ball. I'm like, well, whose job is it? I thought it was very strange. I know he's a strange guy.
What he's saying is, there's 2 things. One, you better get open. 2, the coaches
Did you see the play where it was open, Anthony, by 50 yards or no?
What's that?
Did you see the play at the end of the game where he's open by 50 yards?
Oh, that one? Yeah.
I'm just saying. I just thought that was an interesting, almost to me, seemed like a dig at him, whether it's justified or not, saying, I don't care about this guy. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. You have a better sense of those things than I usually do.
I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't hear it, so I don't have that. I don't really have a feel. I saw that he was very quiet, and were
you happy with Jalen's performance? Were you happy with Jalen's performance?
We'll talk about it on Monday. I thought he was good when it was first reads, right? The ball was out. Against pressure, he had answers. But then after that, his second and third progressions, he was abysmal. And And again, the decision making, we know that the decision making wasn't right. But you know, again, I attribute a lot of it to no preseason and new center,
first game.
right? So there's a listen. If I was to grade him, I would give him a C plus.
Yeah, I was
right?
going to say that sounds good. Yeah.
And they put up 34 points, right?
Yeah, we talked about that. They put up
34. They're going to score 30 every game. Their offense is too good. Barkley's too good. But let's talk about that on Monday, okay?
You got it, brother. I appreciate you guys.
Good to have you back, buddy.
See you guys Monday.
The Brain, our Bet Park Sportsbook and Casino analyst.
Nice having Brain back.
Yeah. We got to go get a little overtime with him to talk some football. And you know him, like he's geeking out. So it's always great to have the Brain back. All right, let's talk about. I'm telling you about the Bet Park Sportsbook and Casino app. The stuff that the Brain gives you, right? You can play right there. He takes it from the app. He's the analyst at the Bet Park Sportsbook and Online Casino. So you got it right there. All that stuff. I agree with the Vikings. I could see that game being close. I love C.J. Stroud. The over 1.5 touchdowns. He's going to have a monster year all day long. And I love his college play, which is the over Wake and Ole Miss. Wake is good. Wake could put up points. So I think he's right about that. And Ole Miss is one of the best offenses in the country. So check it out. And by the way, have you done the 50-1 super odds boost yet? If you haven't, sign up now, man. Get that 50-1 super odds boost. What that is you get 50-1 odds on anybody to win this year's championship. So if you want to go three-peat, well, first of all, you want to go with us and go Birds. You got that. You want to go three-peat. You want to go with KC. You want to go any of those other teams' favorites. You get 50-1 odds. That's it. If you're a new customer. So you want Baltimore, San Fran, Detroit, you get 50-1 odds. So check it out. Download the Bet Park Sportsbook online casino app right now. Get your 50-1 super odds boost. Your pick to win this year's championship. BetParks.com has terms and conditions. Got to be 21 in PA, New Jersey, Michigan, Maryland. You play for fun. You love to win. You bet. Bet Parks. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Love it, cuz. Listen, we're all talking about Michkov today, right? And I'm honestly curious. I wonder what Michkov's going to be doing with his finances. Obviously, listen, not making millions and millions of dollars, but he's still going to make quite a bit of a change there. And, maybe Michkov and yourself as well could probably use a fresh start of your credit union career with our friends over at TrueMark Financial. They are here to help you with your finances and make it easier as well, especially with their new money management tools through their free mobile banking apps, guys. Managing family finance includes budgeting for kids' sports leagues. Create a separate budget category for sports expenses to track those costs effectively. And most importantly, involve those kids in budget discussions. It is never too early to start those conversations. If you're going away on an away trip, maybe you're going to Allentown this weekend to check out those Flyers in the rookie showcase. You're gonna get a hotel, right? And you don't want to drive back an hour or two, right? Stay around there, have a nice little weekend, make it a nice little long weekend for you. And so when you're down there, when you're doing these away trips, everything starts adding up, and then you'll notice that, hey, where did my $1,000 go? Well, with TrueMark and their mobile banking app, they'll break it all down for you, and you can track everything super effectively. My favorite feature, though, is we don't have to worry about that little heart attack when we lose our debit or credit card. If you happen to go through that, TrueMark Financial's mobile banking app will allow you to lock it in case you happen to find it, or if you need a new one, they'll be able to help you with that as well. Right now, guys, you can find some more information by going to TrueMark.com/PHLY, or we have 24 branches in the area. You can walk on in. They'd be more than happy to answer any question you have or to start your credit union career. TrueMark Financial is federally insured by the NCUA and is an equal opportunity lender. Thank you so much to our friends over at TrueMark Financial.
All right, JP. Thank you, buddy. And TrueMark sponsors our 10 a.m. hour. Like JP said, TrueMark.com/PHLY. They are fantastic. We love them. All right. Come up in 15 minutes. We'll get an Eagles report with Bo Wulf from our All Eagles PHLY show. Looking forward to that. One of the stories that we'll talk to Bo about is your linebacker situation. Because there's one linebacker who's unsure about his role right now.
Dude, what a loser.
Damn. Woo, JP never talks like that.
Yeah, dude, come on, man. You earn your keeps here. What have you done to earn it? Because you want a Super Bowl?
All right, so Devin White was upset and was saying, hey, listen, you got to talk to the coach, and he's upset at not having his role defined.
What's your role? I don't know. You have to ask coach.
You know, and he was kind of pouty about it. I will say that, you know, I mean, I was shocked that he spoke, to be honest with you.
No need. And I hope they ask Coach Fangio. Let's ask Fangio what his role is, and we'll hear the truth.
He'll give us a great answer, too.
I mean, you know, I look at it, and the one thing I mean, we didn't know what he had left, right?
Yeah, we're hoping.
I mean, yeah, he's not making no money, but it's never a good sign in a guy who is basically scratched for a playoff game.
No, I hear you, and
Top Bowl's a good defensive guy.
he's a very good defensive guy. I mean, he was the DC, so he comes from that side of the ball. So I don't know what he's got left. I will say, I mean, I was happy with the Eagles linebacker situation.
Yeah,
You know?
I didn't miss him at all.
I mean, you know, first of all, Zach Bond was hey,
Mike Singletary.
I mean, when's the last time you saw an Eagle linebacker
12 tackles
to have that sort of? He was flowing to the ball. I mean, he was there.
Unreal.
And Nakobe, I mean, there was a couple times in coverage, but other than that, I mean, I thought Nakobe played well.
Yeah, a lot of positives.
Yeah,
Dean.
we saw that high motor, how he's always telling us about. He finally showed it with Nakobe Dean.
You know,
just something that just bothered me a little bit. I just hate that, like, feels like we strike out with some of these vets who are trying to get that last hurrah, try to win. Like,
you're always taking a flyer. I mean,
but why can't one of these hit? Like,
well, you're always going to take a
He hit
flyer.
every now. Alshon Jeffrey was a hit. I mean, he had a good year or two.
Last hurrah, he was still kind of like in this prime a little bit.
He's on the
He was at
downside.
the end.
Yeah.
He was at the end. He was on the
Great year in
Torrey
2017.
Yeah,
kind of at the end.
Listen, you're always rolling the dice with those guys. You know, anytime a guy approaches 30 or in his early 30s, you take a shot on him. You know, you got to see.
Chris Long, another one.
Yeah, that worked.
I think that whole Super Bowl was
That whole
just
team was like, look,
veteran
Jay
hit.
Ajayi, what's it called?
LeGarrette
Roll
Blount.
the blunt.
Roll the blunt, baby.
Right, roll the blunt was we played off dividends.
Yeah.
Right?
Jinx from that? Because look at lately. Kevin Byard was Robert Quinn.
Nice sound effect.
We don't have a soundboard, so I gotta improvise here.
We just need the Rizzo. He's a crumb bum or a bum. Yeah, we need a drop like that.
Can we get
We can build up a
soundboard?
soundboard.
F. Fraser's telling me we do.
Yeah, we can
We
make
have one?
We don't have one right now, but I can build
We
one
need to
out.
populate one.
We got to populate it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, listen, I got
do a
plenty
little-
of them for you. Throughout my
Oh, I know you do.
career, we have
Hey,
you can act like a man.
Yeah.
We've always played
Well, we got that for TV Todd.
Right. I always remember it from the radio days. I mean, we had all kinds. There was a board of just my idiotic noises.
Oh, Baldy.
Yeah,
right.
There's a lot of weird noises on that
Yeah,
too.
there was a lot of weird ones, but there's a ton of drops,
Drops are
I'm
awesome.
a
Yeah,
man,
we'll build
I'm
that up.
40. Right. I can hear them in my head.
Honestly,
over and over
Fraser's
again.
got some good ones too. Going as a pirate, something like that.
He's got a picture of the
Man,
ship.
you guys are stabbing from all ends
He's got
here.
a picture of the ship.
The
I
Renaissance
do.
Fair.
You got to
Oh,
see
God.
it.
I mean, we just got this great football kind of depth
Yeah, we need a breather.
football.
Taking a breather.
All right.
We're a little chuckle.
Yeah.
little
There's
giggle.
the ship.
It looks like the one at Raymond James.
It's not even in water. It doesn't
It's
look
a
like
brewery.
near water.
In VJ.
We're near
VG,
water.
you'd love it. It's a brewery. You go in there, you can have all your
Listen, I know,
swashbuckling
I'm
drinks.
not like some cretin who just if you serve beer, I love it. No, I mean
I am.
there's got to be something else going on.
Yeah, pirates.
Come
Dude,
on.
what's better than
There's
beer?
no such thing as pirates during that period of time.
like a pirate house.
There's no port.
Who wants a party on a pirate house?
There's no port.
They don't even have
Pirates are on the seas.
Come on.
You're in the middle of land.
If there's gold and treasure, there's pirates.
Dude,
all right?
Well,
if there's
that's a weak-
beer at a
that's a weak
library or
boat.
bookstore, I'm in. That's all you need is beer.
So yeah, I'm out. Out.
Are you kidding me? Come on, bro.
At least paint some water
At least
around
go.
it.
He thinks he's right.
They have a mermaid.
If you're going to embrace a mermaid,
They have a mermaid.
It's the middle of England.
In a tank.
What mermaid? What sea She is in the middle of the English countryside.
Is my
She swims around in a tank, and then you can feed her.
It's ridiculous. Listen, God bless your generation.
There's a lot of scantily clad women at this fair.
God bless your generation. God bless your whole thing. You enjoy animated films and reliving your childhood
like Peter
over
Pan.
and over and over again.
He's Peter Pan.
Like, I get it. Like, I think there's a sweetness about that, right?
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank
It's a little weird.
Right? There's
a lot weird.
You know, however, you go way overboard. Way overboard. Like, the Renaissance Fair thing, man, I just don't under. All right, you want to do it?
I'd go and visit, but I don't know if I'm not cosplaying it.
I'll tell you what, if you don't cosplay, you are a fish out of water. Everybody is dressed up.
But again, but at least he's right. All right? The burnout is right. You
Take advice from the burnout.
I always say, listen, the burnout knows.
Worst thing in
Listen
the
to the
world is a bunch
burnout.
of theater kids are going to mock me because I'm dressed normal.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Look at this normie.
Listen,
Narc. He's a narc.
really, take advice from the burnout, man.
Just show up in like
There's
a Nebraska
no
football
such
T-shirt.
thing As a really, oh well, I'm the way I'm out. I know I got no place at the Renaissance Fair. I don't like pickles. All right. And you know what's funny? Of all the eras of the world, in the history of the world,
You're out on that.
you know what is not hot? Women in those in Renaissance outfits.
They're all scantily clad when I was looking at pictures of this Ren Fair.
Yeah, but that's not how they dress.
No, of course
Right?
not.
Like they had
They're like in
all
potato sacks they're wearing.
Right.
Like,
And by the way, you want to talk about laced up, you need to be a safe cracker to hook up with them. You know what I'm saying?
safe cracker.
I mean, just to get
Like mini explosives.
right. I mean, come on. There's nothing hot about that.
If I could have got a list of 30 things I would see at a Ren Fair, I would never pick mermaid.
I mean, I would go
mermaid?
cave.
He's feeding
if
mermaids,
you're going to go hot Halloween costumes, right?
I'm not wearing hot Halloween.
You got to go. I go cave woman.
Cave woman's good.
Cave woman is way better
Big stick.
than Renaissance
You'd
woman.
be a good cave guy. You could play the cave guy. You'd be a great cosplayer
Like a
of the
Fred
cave
Flintstone. He'd be a great Fred.
Well, I mean, not for nothing. The cave woman's hot.
Fred Custone.
I mean, here it is.
Oh, dude. This is good.
There was a.
They're surprised you're hating on bustiers.
Well, I mean, my God, you got to go be a safe cracker. You know, you can't. I mean, it's not like you can just do the fingers and unhook. You know what I mean?
dude.
2 fingers unhook.
2 fingers.
I mean,
got me
that's
crying.
it.
2
All right.
fingers Louis over here.
All right, enough of this. We're going down the wrong road.
Hey, Nick Sirianni's the winningest active coach. How about that, Nick?
You know what's
Give us some
amazing
props.
about him is that he's still getting crushed in town.
Well, yeah.
But nationally, he gets respect.
I mean, I could have said, just bogus stats. Don't believe the stats, but I give him his props. He's the winningest active coach.
Oh, you're right. Because I don't know. I can't tell your sarcasm.
Yeah, I give him his prop right now. Yeah, it's due.
They were prepared to play. Right.
I just love that picture.
I love that photo of him, yeah.
But like, you have to be like Adam Gase to lose with this team. This is a good roster that he's had over the last 3 years.
Dude, I mean, you didn't expect his rookie year. You were expecting them to make the playoffs. I wasn't.
No, I'm sorry. I should say
Were
22,
you
23,
expecting
24.
the second year 2 to go to the Super Bowl? I wasn't.
No, I expect to win a division, and they did that.
After that press
I-
conference,
I thought
expectations.
Dallas was going into that season. Dallas was the favorite.
I like that roster in 22.
Okay, but you didn't know that Jalen Hurts was going to play that well.
I
You
thought
didn't. You didn't know. You didn't know that. Like that's why. Like we were revisionists. Like you look at it and go, well, now I like the roster. Did you?
I didn't think Super Bowl, but I thought they could win the NFC East for sure.
Did you think that they were going
AJ
to?
Brown, Devontae, Dallas. No, who do we have? It was it wasn't Swift.
He's got to say Dallas too.
Dallas Goddard,
Right. Got to say Goddard.
Miles Sanders.
What with Miles Sanders? Who's
Miles
Sanders?
was
Who's
solid.
Miles Sanders?
Stop.
It was
Well, he
solid,
stinks.
cuz.
No, he wasn't.
He's like top,
He
and also
wasn't
too, he's
good.
like top 10 in rushing
The
stats
only
in Eagles
reason why
history.
they were any good is because of Hurts in the run game and the way they devised, and Steichen had a terrific
That's so.
scheme to devise them how to run the football. But now all of a sudden, like there was no way. Dallas was the favorite going into that year. Just FYI.
Okay. Did you think they would miss the playoffs in 22 before the season?
I hope that they had made the goal was to make the playoffs. They had made the playoffs the year before in a surprise, and the goal going into the next year was to make the playoffs, not get to the Super Bowl and almost beat the Chiefs.
I thought they could at least made a divisional round in 22.
Okay.
I need to find my old clips.
Miles Sanders.
It was, come on,
What old clips you have?
Well, obviously, you had a YouTube channel before
Look at
this.
this, man.
Hey, do we have a minute before you read?
Yeah.
There's this amazing story with the Twins minor league system. Have you seen this? It's Derek Bender. He's in
No.
A-ball. They've cut him. In their last playoff game, he was tipping pitches to the opposing players.
What?
And they did an internal investigation. And when they interviewed people, he had said he wanted the season to end. So he was telling the other batters what balls were coming.
What?
This is worse than the Porter story.
It's outrageous, right?
Why would you do that?
He wanted the season to end.
Why?
What do you mean you want the season to end?
You're
tired.
A-ball,
It's a
dude.
long season. A-ball is grueling, man.
Oh my
Wild,
God.
right?
Look,
Dude, just quit at that point. I mean,
like
why,
what?
like-
That is
And
outrageous.
he's like a 6th-round pick, which is not. That's a decent
No,
round in
it's
baseball.
right.
That's
Yeah,
a high
which-
pick.
where rounds go on forever.
Calendar.
47 rounds or something. Yeah, that's a good high pick.
Oh my God.
Bonkers.
That's insane.
well, it's going to end for him now.
Yeah, his career's ended. Like anybody,
Derek.
like you're done. Like that's it.
Yeah,
Dude, that's terrible.
That is awful.
crazy.
Oh my God. I've never heard that. All right. Let's discuss. That's right. Parks Casino. We talk about it all the time. We talk about the Bet Park Sportsbook Casino app. But what about Parks Casino, the mecca of entertainment? Not all of us like the Renaissance Fair, right?
Love it.
I don't know why I can't get enough of Skeeves. You got to you got to send us pictures.
Yeah.
Please.
Oh, of course I will.
But you should. I meant to say, because when you listen to VG, you should have been a blacksmith. No, he's right.
That's cool.
Blacksmith is cool.
It's not
Yeah.
too late. I can change it up. I
Well,
can
change
alter.
it up. Be a blacksmith.
I can alter
The
the.
Wentz
blacksmith
is
is cool.
like the blacksmiths. They own pirates.
Yeah, the pirate. Like that's
Just because Johnny Depp made it cool.
Yeah, stop. Go be a blacksmith. Be a
How about a
real
peasant? What
fair
about
guy.
peasant?
Yeah,
A
good
peasant?
Like
peasant.
peasant,
Yeah,
like dirty
solid
peasant, like
He'd be a great peasant. He's a good dirty peasant.
Well, he also would be. What was the Christmas story with the kid with the one leg?
Like an orphan?
No, yeah, but who was the
solid
Scrooge?
orphan.
Tiny
Who
Tim.
had Scrooge? Tiny Tim.
Yeah, Tiny
He
Tim.
would be. Tiny Tim was tall, right?
Yeah.
So it was the opposite.
Yeah.
So Skeeves could be a great Tiny Tim.
The one-legged peasant.
You know what would be a great Scrooge? Vince. But not because of the personality, but the beard. Like we could Scrooge him up.
Screws him up.
We should do a Christmas Carol here sometime.
Yeah. Well, let's not. But you would actually be great.
We actually should get
At the
PHLY post photographer Chris to follow him around at the
Yeah,
Red Fair.
that would actually be strong. All right. So if you're not going to the Renaissance Fair, do me a favor. Go see JB Smoove at Parks Casino. Yes, the Excite Center has the biggest acts, the greatest comedians, musical acts right there. It's one of the terrific venues inside Parks Casino, 1,500-seat Excite Center. They have great restaurants. You want to make it a great date night. How about going right to the whole thing? You get to go do a big night out, big dinner, and then go see JB Smoove, some cocktails. Sounds like a great night. Street Road right off of Street Road exit off 95 and the PA Turnpike. Parks Casino, this is how you win. It's also a blast, right? All the great stuff. Tickets on sale now for these headliners. I said tomorrow night, JB Smoove is great. September 20th, the Best of the Eagles, a tribute band to the Eagles. September 26th, Joe Bartnick from the Bill Burr podcast joins Joe Conklin, one of the greatest funny people in Philadelphia history. September 28th, The Fray. October 4th, the Juicy Scoop podcast with Heather McDonald from Bravo and Chelsea Lately. October 5th, comedian Kev Herrera. October 25th, comedian Michael Blaustein. And November 23rd, comedian Steve Trevino. Parks Casino, this is how you win. ParksCasino.com to buy tickets for all shows. You got to be 21. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. This portion of the program brought to you by Rite Aid. Get all your goods at your nearest Rite Aid. Now joining us from the PHLY Eagles show. We love him. He's got the, speaking of a dry sense of humor,
hysterical.
He really is.
He's the best, man.
I enjoy Bo Wulf from our Eagles show. Bo and Zach do such a great job. And the beauty of the show is, like, you got to watch it. The two of them work so well off each other because Zach is, uber football guy, right? Like, great, one of the great journalists, insiders, Z Berm, and Bo is a terrific football guy, but he also has this great way about him. He's got a
just wants to have fun, man.
Yeah,
They're like has Oscar and Felix.
They are. You guys play so well off each other.
Well, it's very nice of you to say. I appreciate that.
No,
Jack would like a little bit more football talk, but that's okay.
You know what's funny? I love Zach, and I kind of would always kind of go towards Zach, but I have this thing about you that you just amuse me, man. You really are. But we love when he comes in the office. It kind of lights up. The spirit lights up.
What a nice thing for you to say. I appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
That's how I feel.
He's never here on Fridays, though.
I know. Well,
I'm coming in.
Oh, you are?
No, yeah, we're coming in today.
Well, Monday's game day, so Monday's a big deal for him. Yeah. So let's talk about this for a second. Devin White, what do you make of that whole situation?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's clear that Nakobe Dean won that job, obviously, and Vic Fangio said as much. I think it seems to me like Devin White is handling it like an adult, right? He's not stomping around and whining. He said he's going to do his best to get on the field, and the truth is it's a 17-game season. It would be a pretty big surprise if he doesn't get on the field at some point on defense, right? I don't expect that Nakobe Dean and Zach Bond are going to make it through the entire season only playing as the two linebackers on defense. So I'm sure that we will see Devin White at some point. He hasn't played special teams before, so we'll see how he does at that. Like if you see a lack of effort there, or that he does look like he's going about it in a professional manner, which is what I expect. So I don't think that we said at the beginning when they signed Devin White that it seemed like an odd fit with Vic Fangio, right? Like this did not seem like Vic Fangio's type of guy, just because he was not, the book on him. And the reason that he was benched playing for Todd Bowles, one of the best defensive coaches in football, is that he didn't necessarily know what he was doing. He wasn't in the right spot all the time. He's this great athlete, but he wasn't reading things correctly. So that doesn't strike me as the kind of thing that Vic Fangio would like. And so it does seem to me like, and we talked about this on the show, Vic's got his Zach Bond signing. That was the second signing of free agency, right? And then Howie's like, I'm going to get you Devin White. Don't I know you like Zach Bond, Vic, but don't worry. I'm going to get you this guy with first round pedigree. You're going to love him. And it didn't quite work out that way. Vic sort of knew what he was doing all along.
Hey, Bo, do me a favor, because I was so anxious to get to you that I missed our game time read. Oh my God. I can't believe I did that.
It's all good,
I need you to read that, JP. I was so excited to get the Bo, talk football.
After Ren
We've all been there.
football.
I mean, I had it. Steve's had me going with this Renaissance fair. So please tell us about game time.
Yeah, not a problem at all. Well, all right, obviously, listen, we all know what Monday is. It's Eagles, it's Falcons, home opener. We're all excited. And listen, it could be a little pricey, but that's why you need our friends over at the Game Time app, because they're making it super simple. It's a free app to download, and you can get the lowest prices guaranteed. We have people saving up to 60% off, but there's a lot going on this weekend. You obviously have the Phillies and Mets. That's a huge series. We already got VG telling me he's trying to go down this weekend. So if you're trying to go down too, make sure you guys are downloaded that Game Time app. And of course, we always have you hooked up with that promo code. If you use the promo code PHLY after you create that account first, that's number one. Create the account, find those tickets, find the best seats, use the promo code PHLY. That'll get you $20 off your purchase there of those tickets. So enjoy those tickets from us with that discount. And then just a quick heads up, because I know but let's talk about this as well. We have our PHLY Eagles tailgate at Uptown Beer Garden. Nice. If you'd like some more information, you can go to allphly.com/events. But you will be able to see Jamie Lynch. My boy Roy Burton will be there as well. And of course, the PHLY diehard. We'll have some Miller Lite specials and some delicious food as well. If you want something to do before the game, you don't want to go all the way down to South Philly, we have a great option here at Uptown, right in Center City. It's a great time. And that's what we got going on here.
Yeah, that's a great spot. And it's very cool. And by the way, speaking of our diehards, I want to thank our diehards for believing us. You know, we have a lot of varied content.
Yes, sir.
That, you know, Bo and Zach, I mean, our Eagles preview that you guys spearheaded it was tremendous, man. Great reads, great stuff. The diehards loved it, and we really want to. That's one of the things we want to do more as we reached our 1 year anniversary. Is this sort of interesting content, and you guys are at the forefront of it.
Yeah, and it's kept rolling since then. You know, Fran Duffy's film breakdowns, Les is writing on the regular, so there's all kinds of coverage there on the site for the diehards.
Yeah, it's strong.
Hey, Bo, can I just follow up? You said that Devin White, you thought was acting like handling it like an adult or mature. I mean, is he? Like, isn't the answer to the question?
These two went right after
the answer to the question.
Even JP don't say boo to anybody.
I didn't have the best camp, and I got to get it together and play better instead of ask my coach what my role is. I don't know. Like, doesn't seem mature and adultish.
Yeah, I'm not gonna like be the Devin White defender. I think that's a fine point of view. I wasn't in the locker room yesterday. I was doing our show. The times overlapped yesterday, so I didn't get to talk to him specifically. But I mean, he's still here. I don't know. I'm sure he's disappointed, right?
Yeah.
I mean, listen, from his standpoint, you go into it, you're the starter the whole all season, and then you get the rug pulled. Now, there's a reason why.
Right.
But
he knows. He knows if he's
right,
outplayed.
But there is if you're Devin White, it's a shot at you. Like, it's a big blow to certainly your ego and your competitiveness. I think that's what you're saying, right, Bo?
Yeah, and I mean, of course, he comes in. He's the highest paid guy in that group. He thinks he's going to be the starter based on that. Now, it's not like he was the only one taking reps with the ones. He took the first reps most days with the ones, but they rotated all camp long. So if he didn't see this coming, that is a little bit on him, probably.
Yeah. Let's talk about what we learned from week one. Now, we know the other stuff. The field conditions were kind of miserable. It didn't feel like an NFL game. It felt more preseason-ish, which sometimes these international games can do. But man, oh man, the offense, Barkley is just going to add such a different dynamic. I haven't been this excited for an offense, a running back. You had Shady and at times B. West, who I thought needed to utilize more, Ricky Waters. But man, I mean, we're talking about a different class of back.
No doubt. And we were talking about this earlier this week about like what did we actually learn versus what was, sort of 1 week anomaly stuff. And we didn't know if Saquon still had the kind of juice that he showed early in his season because he didn't have to do it in the summer, right? You can't really tell with running backs in training camp because they're not tackling. And so to see him run the way that he ran was absolutely eye-opening and a huge deal for the offense. And I think it's the conversation has already turned to, do we want to use Saquon too much because we want to make sure that he's looking like this in December and January? But I don't even think that that's a concern. He's going to be a huge part of this offense. There will be weeks, I'm sure, when they're passing it more. There will be weeks when they're leaning on him more. The other thing to me that was like the big takeaway is that, the moves they made with the coaching staff and, VG all over what is Nick Sirianni doing here? But like the idea behind let's just bring in some competence on both sides of the ball because we have this roster that is Super Bowl caliber We need some adults in the room to put them in the right place and just sort of check that box. And that was exactly what you saw in that game. I mean, the things that Kellen Moore was doing on offense, sort of just some easy stuff, getting some guys in motion, like not having these static routes and layering these things. It worked beautifully. The offense looked very good after those first couple possessions, and really the whole game, aside from Jalen Hurts' decision making. And then on defense, they gave up a bunch of points, but I thought there was a real level of professionalism in the way that they were doing things schematically on defense. Obviously, those first couple red zone stops were huge. And so to me, it was like, if I'm Jeffrey Lurie and I watch that game, I'm thinking, okay, this is what we had in mind when we brought these two guys in.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm sure you saw the stat about, motion. The teams that didn't score didn't utilize a lot of motion. Atlanta, who's coming in on Monday, did not deploy a lot of motion, and it was motion with a purpose, right? It was motion to kind of dictate where to go. It was the built-in answers against pressures. So, I mean, I think that's what you saw from Kellen Moore was purposeful motion.
Yes, and it's one of the funniest plays of the Falcons game from last week is when they do use motion, they snap the ball, and it was a fumble because the guy was running behind the center when it happened. Like, they didn't know what they were doing on the motion front. But yes, you're exactly right. Like the A.J. Brown touchdown, he has just a very slight little motion before that play that just sort of opens things up for him to get by Jair Alexander. There's another one on the Saquon touchdown where they motion a guy just to the right to move the linebacker just a touch so that Saquon can then get past him on that wheel route touchdown. So it absolutely does seem like Kellen Moore knows what he's doing there.
Jalen talked about having to obviously make better decisions. He said twice. Overall, listen, I thought his first reads when it was, hey, get the ball out, this is what it calls for, I thought he was very good. I thought he was on the money. But the second and third progressions, the times when he needed to kind of just make smaller strides in the pocket, not kind of get out, kind of survey, give your reads, go through your progressions, I thought that needed work. And I think the obvious is, again, they didn't play in the preseason. It's a new center. I think that needs to get some of that stuff just needs to get buttoned up.
Yeah, I had the same takeaway as you about the timing stuff, and I looked into it on True Media, and the numbers bore it out. Like when he gets rid of the ball in the first 2.5 seconds over the past year plus, he's one of the best quarterbacks in football by EPA per play. When it's that middle range, it's like 2.5 seconds to 3.5 seconds. He's middling. He's like around 14, 15. And then when he holds onto the ball for 3.5 seconds or longer and throws the ball, he's one of the worst quarterbacks in football. And that's what we saw in that game, right? Like when he knows what he's seeing, it's good. It looks really crisp. But he doesn't have, and it's a little bit of a disappointment because you think of Jalen as this multi-tool athlete, a mobile quarterback. He doesn't have necessarily that unscripted playmaking ability all the time. We've seen it a few times, that Olamide Zaccheaus touchdown last year. But he doesn't have, and I was just sort of speculating, like the way that he throws the ball, where he gets his arm strength from, is so lower body driven, right? Like when he gets the ball downfield, he can throw it as far as anybody. That's great. But when he's on the move, he doesn't have that wrist flick or just that.
No, he's torque. A leg thrower.
He's a leg thrower.
Quarterbacks are wrist throwers, Michael Vick. Arm throwers, which there's a number of them. You can just look and see it. And leg throwers, guys that need to have their base, right? Those are the three ways to throw a football.
100%.
And you're spot on. It's why, throwing the ball across your body, I don't care if A.J. Brown was open, was a mistake. He can't make that throw. That's not him. That's not who he is.
I totally agree. And even the throw before that, I thought was even worse. The one where it should have been a pick six. Like that's a throw that nobody, that's insane to make that throw. And so, yes, I totally agree about the structure.
The one thing clear about this offense is it's going to put up major points. I mean, I love Becton in that guard spot in the run game My God, he's a load.
I lost your my Wi-Fi here.
So
It's
I
not
said,
holding up.
do we talk about the
Its end of the
line?
bargain.
Do you have it? Do you have us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. We were talking about.
Yeah, I thought Becton looked great.
Becton in the run game.
Yes, I was even more impressed and encouraged by Cam Jurgens in this game, but I thought that Becton looked good. No doubt, it was like this is what Jeff Stoutland had in mind, right? You have this huge body at right guard who not only provides force in the run game and is coming along in pass protection, but also helps sort of protect Cam Jurgens a little bit in terms of his size. But like the things that Jurgens was doing at the second level, it was sort of proof positive that they don't have to change the structure of this offense without Jason Kelce.
Now, the other thing about it, on the other side of it, is we got to figure out what kind of pressure they're going to get off the edge. How much was the field? How much did that hurt them? And how much do you need somebody to pop, man? Like, where's Bryce Huff? We talk about it. Like, he's going to be the first one with the big circle. You need to see more out of Bryce Huff.
Yeah, I think it's already here. And there's no question that is the major question about this team right now is the pass rush going to come? And I think it's fair to give them a wait and see based on the field conditions in that game. We talked to Vinny Curry on the post-game show, and his speculation was that Bryce Huff probably didn't play as much because he didn't get as good footing. And like he was just like, I don't have it today. And so we'll see if that changes, if the playing time changes this week against the Falcons offensive line that gave up a lot of pressure to the Steelers last week. Now the Steelers have a good pass rush, but right now Kirk Cousins is a statue back there. He wants to get rid of the ball quickly, but he's still very able to be pressured. And so this is absolutely a game where if the Eagles if their pass rush doesn't show up in this game and make an impact, then I don't think it's too early to get a little bit concerned.
Yeah.
Hey, Bo, I had read, I think in third and longs, there might have been 7 or 9 of them, but Kellen Moore only used motion once out of those situations. Do you think that is something where he's just trying to simplify it because they know the blitz is a problem and just make sure everyone's got their blocking assignments? Jalen knows where he's going with the ball and just keep it simple? Yeah, that's a good theory. I think it's probably one where the sample size is so small that like week 1 to me is all about like, you don't have to worry about what your tendencies are because you're setting the baseline for what your tendencies are so that you can then break them in weeks 2, 3, and 4. So if they still do that, then I think it's a good question to ask Kellen Moore next week.
Yeah, I listen. I'm excited. I mean, look, it's early, but you see the framework of what they try to put out there, and
they look professional.
They do. I mean, how do you think Sirianni's handling this like piece of the role?
I think he's fine. I think he's happy. As long as they're winning, he's not gonna complain, right?
I tell you one thing though, on the offensive side, I don't need to see quarterback draws and the RPOs and RPRs. I think you can just dial them back, man. I don't think you need to be that cute. Once in a while, you want to put it out there just to have Jalen part of the run game, which will always freeze defenses and that sort of thing. But having Barkley back there allows you the freedom not to have to kind of junk it up.
Yeah, the quarterback read stuff, the read option stuff, especially to me, you can sort of throw that stuff out. He doesn't have the the speed to turn the edge right now. The draws, I think he does still have power, and so like if you want to throw in 2 draws a game or something like that to keep the defense honest, I'm okay with that. And he can scramble moving
not
forward.
Not inside the 10 though. It never works.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But I don't want to see him pulling the ball when he could be handing it off to Saquon Barkley, and it's like you could do either one. Like, give the ball to the guy. What are we doing?
What's the difference between the RPO game in 2 years ago in the Super Bowl year and today? And obviously, defensive coordinators caught up to it last year and are able to do it. But he doesn't look like he has the same kind of giddy up and burst that he had 2 years ago.
He doesn't. And this is another one where I looked at it this week and the numbers do bear it out. Just his efficiency as a scrambler. So this is not the designed runs, but when he scrambles, he has gotten less productive each of the past, since 2022 to 2023 to 2024. Now that was one game, but I don't know if there is, it's because he's more conscious of protecting himself, or that's the way that he's been coached to do it, or if there is just a little bit less fluidity in his body. But for whatever reason, he is not quite as dangerous as a runner as he was 2 years ago.
Yeah. What do you guys got on store for today?
We got the professor, Daniz, coming in.
The professor.
Yeah,
he does
coming
good
in.
stuff. You know about the professor?
I don't think so.
Tell the audience about the professor. He's a brilliant guy.
Daniz Selman, longtime fan of the show, and we're fans of him. He's always, you may recognize him. He's probably his NFL fame comes from, he's like the best at playoff scenarios on the internet. Like, so you will see starting in like week 14, people are sharing his playoff scenario stuff. But he is a diehard Eagles fan, season ticket holder, goes to every game, charts everything himself.
Nice.
He's extremely smart and extremely good at explaining the smart stuff and making it sound simple. So we'll have him on the show today, talk about what he saw in week 1, what he's seen from the Falcons. And then Zach will be checking in from the NovaCare complex because we've got another day where locker room is overlapping with our 2 p.m. showtime.
I love it. Good stuff. We'll see you in a little bit, buddy. Thanks, pal.
Thanks, guys.
Here he is, Bo Wulf, all PHLY Eagles show. Make sure you're tuned in. It's great stuff. It really is.
God knows best.
All right, a couple things. One, Monday will be a day. I want to try to get calls going on Monday. It's game day. We'll get nuts. So I want to get that going for Monday. Also, we got Nugs we got to get to in a moment. And, of course, overtime with TV Todd. All right. So Todd's coming up in about 10 minutes. Give me my start us off with our Rite Aid back in the day Nug.
Oh, good. I got a few of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I got some flyer stuff.
Let's go.
Yeah.
We're excited, man. Jonesy got us geeked up.
Yeah, I'm ready to do some flyers,
I'll
love.
find it for you. Charlie actually put out the lines for tonight, and it looks like Michkov will be with Luchenko, and I'll find out the other guy for you, but it got us a little excited here for you.
Well, Luchenko with that speed, like Jonesy talking about his speed.
He's in love with the speed.
Yeah.
A little more in love with it than the rest of the league, but hopefully Jonesy's right.
Denoye, Luchenko, and Michkov.
I mean, he drafted him way higher than everyone had him rated.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but that's more not the rest of the league. It's you talk about mocks.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, who knows with the mock in the NHL mock world, how accurate that is.
Yeah, true. True.
All right, take it away, VG.
Oh, we got a little Rick McLeish goal. Cup winning goal.
Look at this. Rite Aid back in the day moment. Oh, my God.
ESPN Classic. Love that channel.
Video doesn't have sound, so just so you guys know, it's that old. It's not playing for me.
Oh, I thought I heard sound last night. All right. I got another back in the day moment. One of these will have some sound.
That's
I think.
cool, though.
Yeah, it is.
So I wanted to get a couple good goals to get us in the mood. How about the JJ Daigneault?
1987.
Yeah.
Edmondson.
The story behind that is I wasn't supposed to be on the ice. But I was coming from the bench, and obviously I was 21 years old. And unlike the roles that I was given when I was 28 years old winning the Stanley Cup, at that time I wasn't a shutdown defenseman. So whenever Gretzky was on the ice, I had to be off the ice. And I just happened to round my net, wheel my net, and make an outlet pass for a breakout. I had just gotten on the ice. And I was coming back to the bench because I saw Gretzky jump on the ice, and Mike Keenan yelled at me, "Stay out there." Kind of cursed at me, "Stay out there." But sure enough, I skated down the ice as fast as I could, and there was a puck right there laying at the offensive blue line. That was the turnover from Yari Curry, and I just walked into it and put all my might at that one slapper that became one of the biggest goal in Flyers history.
Prop again. The Oilers to the point. Daigneault is out.
Comes to the game 7.
Wow! Boy, I'll tell you, these people are going crazy.
There was a little bit of a blackout when I scored, but then after that, it was loud for that.
Yeah.
I was an usher at the Spectrum.
Watching the fans, I'm sure.
Oh,
not watching
my God.
the game at all. Just making sure no one's acting out.
Listen, God only knows what happened. I was in high school. I can only imagine
Like giant puffs of smoke in your section. Like,
Yeah,
what's Anthony doing up there?
I remember they used to always say to me, like every once in a while they would go they would complain. So smoking in there. Because you can only smoke inside the concourse.
Yeah.
You walk into the concourse between periods, it was a cloud of smoke.
Oh man.
Like it was ridiculous.
Crazy times, man.
But I remember doing a Grateful Dead show, and
Grateful Dead show.
And I would just sit there, and this is before cell phones, so I would just sit there, and then they would say, "Hey, somebody's smoking in my section, in my row."
Grateful Dead.
And I'm like, "You're at a Dead show.
You're lucky you're not kicked out for not smoking.
Everybody's wasted. All right, they're like, come on, man.
You get contact high just being there.
Exactly. Leave me alone.
Young Anson Usher at a Flyers game. He's like charting plays. There's all kinds of mayhem in his section.
Yeah.
All right, we got a rookie hype with Michkov, so I wanted to do some Lindros. Lindros' second goal. His first goal was good. His second goal was fantastic. And the building is insane when Lindros scores his goal.
That old school.
Flyers, Islanders, next Thursday. We'll have it for you on Prism, 7:30. Here it's 4-4. Just under 5 minutes to go in the third period of our contest. Galley muscles it along to Fedek, and he shunts it back out. We hadn't had time to... Well, here comes Lindros moving ahead. Lindros around in front. Goal! That's what the people came to see. And look at mom and dad and sister. They love it.
Dude, when Michkov scores,
it's unbelievable.
When they drop the puck to start playing, the crowd is still on their feet going nuts. It's his second goal in his second game.
Yeah,
he's the second quickest in his first 20 games. I think
we
he had
went
13
nuts.
goals.
We're gonna go crazy. When Michkov, we're gonna go nuts.
It's gonna be earthquakes, man.
Yeah.
Fun.
And then for the Mets, you got to throw a little Jimmy. Right?
Oh, I love it.
This is division clincher game where Jimmy also becomes the fourth player in history to do 20-20-20. He gets us a triple here. It's fantastic.
Ball's hit well to right field. It is off the wall on one hop. Scoring Chris Coast. Jimmy Rollins is going to try for three. Here he comes. He's got a triple. Whoa! Jimmy Rollins with that big 20th triple of the year.
Holy cow.
Wow!
Look at him bust that.
And he pumps his fist at third base.
Head first slide.
Yeah. I didn't know he's only the fourth player to do the 20-20-20.
No, that was a big deal.
Yeah.
Who was on the call?
I don't know. It must have been a national game. Or no.
It was Fox.
It
No.
sounded like Fox, but
I don't think it was a national game.
I don't think they were too excited to be Mets announcers.
Right. No, they definitely weren't Mets announcers. Yeah. No, it sounds like you know who was doing the game last night, the football game on radio? T-Mac.
No, I like T-Mac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
So I'm wondering if it was who that was.
Yeah.
It sounded a little bit like Murph, but I don't think it was him.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
This is Aaron Judge. You know the home run derby jinx?
Yes.
Well, he's been affected.
Ooh.
He wasn't in the official home run derby, but he hasn't had a home run since, I think, August 26th. And that's the day an episode of Paw Patrol featured him in a home run derby with his two dogs.
Paw Patrol?
Yes.
Had Aaron Judge in it? That was a Massimo show.
On the bottom is Paw Patrol.
Paw Patrol. I know that
he has not homered since that episode aired.
Wow, really?
So bizarre.
That's awesome.
My nephew loves that show.
My Massimo used to love Paw Patrol. He did a Paw Patrol party.
Oh, nice.
I miss those days. Yeah,
here's
all the kids.
Another crazy one. Luis Arias. So since the All-Star break, there's been 472 players that have struck out twice in the same game. He has struck out twice since the All-Star break.
Oh, my God. Only 2 times?
Yeah,
he's
total
insane, man.
Since the All-Star game.
Oh, my God. That's insane.
Yeah, pretty wild.
Smart ball player.
That is. No, he is. You excited about the Mets about this weekend?
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I
I'm like trying. I was just looking at movies. Can I get a 4:00 movie in with the Pagans so I'm cleared for the Phillies game tonight?
I'm going Sunday. We're going to the Sunday game.
You're going Sunday?
Yeah.
So, really? You're not going to the Renaissance Fair?
No, I'm doing Ren Fair on tomorrow, and then on Sunday I'm going to the game.
Go back to back.
Got to balance.
It'll be in the hospital. It's exhausting.
He's got a balanced attack over there.
You're actually
reclaim
going to watch
the fandom.
sports? You're going to watch sports?
All Sunday, yeah. Watch some football, go to the baseball game.
What time's the game Sunday? Is it or day? Not an ESPN game, is it?
It might be, right? With the
I
Mets, I would think
it
it's a
should
Sunday
be.
I
night
think
game.
it's in like. What time is it?
I got you.
He doesn't
I
even
think
know.
it's 6:40.
No,
It is
6:40 on
1:35
Sunday.
on
No,
Sunday.
it's 1.
1:35.
1:35.
Yeah, wow. He doesn't even know what time.
Nah, he's not
I'm
going. He's not going. He's
I'm
not
going to
going.
2 games,
He's
so I
not
got it
going.
mixed up.
Such a Renaissance guy. We're out
Yeah,
of time.
diehards, we love you.
We love our diehards.
The best.
Diehards are the greatest, man. Thank you. We appreciate it. Now it's time. This kid.
You got to ask
I
TV
love the
Todd.
skis. What's that?
You got to ask TV Todd about the Ren Fair.
All right, we'll ask him. TV Todd.
Act like a man. You can't handle the truth.
It's time for TV Todd.
Todd. Good morning,
What up,
my
boys?
brother.
Todd.
Man, I'm loving this Flyers talk today. Love it.
Dude, I mean, listen, I thought you might go. How far is Allentown from you?
It's a little over an hour. I did think about going. I still might. I'm on the fence.
Do it.
Dude, I mean, you get to see, not for nothing, you get to see the Wonderkind, the Russian Wonderkind. I say
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm incredibly optimistic, like all of you are, but I'm kind of trying to tone myself down a little bit. I can't be looking at clips all day of him trying the Michigan. I'm ready for the opening night. I'm ready for opening night.
Well, I do think it's this is such a good thing. Jonesy was awesome today, and just talking about all the excitement surrounding him, and kind of giving us some insight into his personality, that he has that superstar aura about him.
Yeah. Jonesy was great. He's always great, right? But you know what I loved? I hadn't heard the story about how the new goal song was put into play.
There you go, VJ.
No VH.
That's right. Our man,
You can never go wrong with Van Halen 1, right? The first record.
Yes.
I love the goal song.
Crazy guitar work on that album.
Joe Ben's going nuts right now because he's a VH man.
He's a good man, that guy.
Yeah. Where do you stand on a Renaissance fair?
People take positions on the Renaissance Fair?
Well, Skeeves, our producer, is going to the Renaissance fair.
He wants to know if you'll join him.
No. Tell him what he's dressed as. Carl.
He's also dressing as a pirate. All right. Which,
Come
by
on.
the way, the Renaissance, right? Like that sort of culture, that England, middle of England, countryside, has nothing to do with pirates. There's no port. All right.
That's a good point, actually. That's a good point.
Listen, I love period pieces. I love period pieces.
You don't like when they mash, though.
No, but that's the point.
Yeah.
There's got to be accuracy in the period piece. This whole thing is a fugazi, right? This whole Renaissance fair. It's a one big fugazi.
It's like-
So your pickles on a stick, right?
Turkey legs.
And turkey legs. And
Scottish eggs.
Like, give me a break.
You have like 12 horses pulling a barge with a ship on it. And
Right,
the
right.
pirate's like, we're coming.
And they're
We're
drinking
coming,
beer.
these horses.
And
We're
they
coming.
dress up like the skis crew dresses up. I mean, come
No,
on.
Todd, he's feeding a mermaid, too. That's
Yeah,
the
they can throw a mermaid in there.
He's
What they
feeding
throw
her.
a dragon.
There's
It's
mermaid
not-
in Elves.
It's all fugazi.
Yeah, I've been a few times, but if I'm honest, I'm going there to poke fun at it all, like the humor of it all.
Do you get dressed when you go?
No, come on, that's over the no.
These Skeeves
no.
says I'm going to get mocked if I go. These cosplayers are going to mock
everybody
me.
dresses up.
Look at this.
No,
They're
they
gonna
don't.
throw tomatoes at me because I'm dressed as a normal human.
No, I go dressed as a normal human, and it's
Nice.
it's good humor. It's fun.
Good people watching.
Yeah, I've only been a few times, but it's amazing people watching. I mean, the cosplay that's going on there is insane.
Most like it.
Yeah, he's been there a few
A few
times.
times. You must like it.
That's a mead, some grog.
Ask me if I've ever gone.
Have you ever gone, cuz?
What's your guess?
You want to go? Cause come on, you got to come up. We'll go.
What if they play?
Yeah, I'm going to come in. I'm going to go to the Renaissance Fair with my Nebraska football T-shirt on, and they're gonna. They'll be throwing eggs at me.
What fantasy land is Nebraska?
Really? That's as rural as I get. Is Lincoln? That's just unbelievable. By the way, Bad Monkey. I enjoy it. I love the Bad Monkey.
It started off, it started off pretty good. I would say a good series. And then in that episode 5 or whatever it was, where it became a great series.
It really is tremendous. It's good.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I mean, I think it's one of those series you just got to have fun with. Some good twists and turns. I liked it.
I also watched your Hateful Letters.
Wicked Little Letters.
Wicked Little Letters.
Yeah. Did you like that?
It was good. It was good. Good little movie.
It's a classic UK indie film, right? I mean, great actors. And it's a fun little movie.
I did it for you because you loved it. You went nuts. You were like, dude, I love this movie. You gotta watch. We watched it.
I do. I do love movies like that. It's a tiny film, right? But it's it's also based on a true story.
Films, I want the return of those. So I'm with you. I liked it for that reason.
Yeah. It's funny we're talk about smaller films because there's some bigger films that are out now, right? I mean, like we talked about this film a while ago, but Civil War, Alex Garland's film, who did Ex Machina and Man, Civil War starts streaming today. So I think people are really I think that's a Max film. People are really going to be into that one. I think that's a big action adventure type film.
Yeah, they're probably a month off of it.
Big Farce Jones. Well, Big Farce Jones says I should go dress as an astronaut because that makes as much sense as a pirate.
Hey, there's actually a pirate ship there. All right, there's no moon or anything.
Yeah, of course, you need a pirate ship in the middle of the English countryside. So what do you got for us this weekend?
We got a lot of real diverse content. I'm loving what's up for this weekend. So I'm excited to start. I haven't started it yet, admittedly, but Fight Night on Peacock is one I'm really I've been waiting for a few episodes. Any good or?
It's not bad. It's not bad. Here's the problem: is that I love that genre. Right, like if you go back to the Richard Pryor, Bill Cosby, like that kind of like it was. There's some great stuff in the past. It was all right. I'm not his biggest fan.
Who, Kevin Hart?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on Kevin. I totally get that. I thought having Samuel Jackson in there and Don Cheadle and
I love Don
Terrence
Cheadle.
Howard.
I mean, the characters are good, and I don't know if it's a product of having seen, and I love this genre because the characters are great characters. There's some good stuff that you can, from that era. I love that era. Gangsters, black gangster.
Anything 70s I get sucked into. So the idea that it's about a heist that takes place during the Muhammad Ali comeback fight in the 70s, I'm loving the idea of it. It's based on
here's the problem, right? It's the idea is great. And it feels like Peacock.
Feels like television.
It doesn't feel like how HBO, Netflix, it doesn't have it. It's good. I'm telling you should watch it. It's good. But it could be great. Like it could be epic if it was a bigger budget. Netflix. There's a vibe. I can only tell you there's a vibe about that stuff. Like You know when you see a big series, and if you're going to do that, it's got to be done perfectly. Like the guy who puts Ali is not good.
Okay, well that's bad. That will take you right out of it, since he's the center character of the whole thing. But it's based on a podcast that was really successful about the heist itself. So they had all the chance to do it right. You know what? And you raise a really interesting point. I'm real focused. Like top of my brain right now is the difference in content between what you've just described, television, classic television, versus cinematic. Watching the Wise Guys documentary, it reminded me how when they first did The Sopranos, all you really had before that was television kind of quality, and they realized that they could do something special. They had full reign, cinematic. I mean, that series may be one of the first that really brought cinema quality to television.
Well, it's funny you said that because I love television of that ilk is what it's incredible because you're watching series of movies. Is basically what it was, right? Like every week was like a mini movie, and like I love Peaky Blinders, and like it feels like a movie, right? Like it feels like each episode has that feel to it.
What you don't know are whether the the Comcast Peacock executives, whether they have their thumb on the scale. You never really know that behind the scenes, but I can really appreciate what you're saying. The Wise Guys documentary made me think about all the amazing HBO series that were around that time that had that same cinema feel. 6 Feet Under and
oh my God.
Series like that. I do miss that kind of thing for sure.
So there was a movie which was amazing. Let's Do It Again. It was Uptown Saturday Night and Let's Do It Again, and it was all about that genre. And I mean, who was in the cast?
I remember Uptown Saturday Night. That was really good. That was maybe Garrett Morris and was Garrett Morris in it?
So Sidney Poitier and Bill Cosby. Okay. And I mean, it was great. It was just great characters and vibes and all that stuff. Like I wrote this. I wrote this series. And part of this series has the black underworld in it. And it's just fascinating. Philadelphia had a rich, like the characters, Nudie Mims and all these people that were just bigger than life characters. And that whole scene back then, because you can never have that exist today. Like that world where the underworld was, there were celebrities. You don't have that today. And back then, that's fair. Boxing and heists and all these it was wild. Like it was like incredible theater playing out.
Fair point. And then when
my only thing about is I was looking forward to it, and it just didn't have this. It didn't feel big enough to me.
Yeah, and you're right, because the story back then is so big. With Muhammad Ali, even the idea that he took that break. To close with Malcolm X and, all that stuff that he did. And then he comes back in 1970 for that fight. I mean, that in and of itself is a documentary. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I totally get you on that. I'm going to give it a shot though.
No. And again, I'm not telling you don't watch it. You should watch it. If you're giving me my review, you're asking me my review, I give it a C+.
All right.
I sort of almost like it could have been great. And it was, it's watchable.
Yeah.
You're watching
Absolutely.
C+ stuff?
Well, I mean, because I like the genre. And there's a couple things about it. Even Kevin Hart, as much as I'm not the biggest fan, I mean, he plays his role. I mean, it fits him.
Yeah.
And he was good.
Well, listen, there's lots of good content this weekend. So, there's something for everybody for sure. I mean, if you're going to do, there's a couple of films we should talk about real quick. But before that, if you're going to watch anything that, with your significant other, kind of, not real controversial.
The Eagles play on Monday, so it's a good weekend to watch.
Right. people are loving the Netflix series, The Perfect Couple. I think it's #1 right now. Nicole Kidman, Liev Schreiber. It's basically an Agatha Christie. It's basically a whodunit that's set in Nantucket with the Nantucket elite. And, of course, Liev Schreiber and Nicole Kidman are amazing in it.
Wow.
People love it. And it's a classic whodunit. That's what it is.
I'm in
It's
on that.
Yeah, 6-part. Good for everybody. It's #1. Everyone's loving it. There's a couple films, though, that I have to recommend. One Andrew and I were texting about a little bit over the week. No, he's in on this one, and I agree with him completely. There's a film. Andrew, you're Skeeves. I call him Andrew.
You can't tell me that you bonded with
about
Skeeves
movies
on a film.
Yeah, man. He likes horror. He likes the horror genre like I do. And there's a film opening this weekend that I've been waiting for, which, I'm pretty excited for. It's a remake of a film that was only out a couple years ago, a Danish film out in 2022. It's called Speak No Evil. And it stars really one of the best actors working today, James McAvoy. And then it's got a couple.
I love James McAvoy.
He's incredible. He's the star of it.
I love him.
Great actor. And he plays he's basically like the creep in the film. And it also stars, if any of you were a fan of this amazing series, I think it was AMC, but I can't remember, Halt and Catch Fire. One of the best series out there. Amazing. And Mackenzie Davis and Scoot McNairy from that series also star in this film. But it's a remake of this film, again, that was just out a couple years ago. And I think it's going to be great. I think people are going to love it.
I'm trying to go see it today at 4:20, but I was a little worried. James Watkins, I think, is the director. He hasn't directed anything decent. I was like, but you think word on this is good?
Well, the reason I think he may have a little help here is because from what I'm told, it's a fairly faithful shot by shot, remake of the Danish film, which was a huge hit. Gotcha. So I think, maybe there's some guardrails for him on that one. But, amazing cast. So I think that's going to be really fun movie to see. And then another one I've been waiting for, which is out on Netflix now, you can watch at home, is a movie called Rebel Ridge. And Rebel Ridge is directed and edited by this guy, Jeremy Saulnier. And he did this incredible film a bunch of years ago called Blue Ruin. He's very character-oriented. Great director.
I heard about Rebel Ridge. I heard it was fantastic.
It's John Johnson stars in it, and it's how it's being. So it's about this guy who comes back to bail out a former Marine that wants to bail his cousin out from an unjust imprisonment, and Don Johnson is the sheriff. But people are loving it, and what they're describing it as is this generation's First Blood. So it's that kind of film. But it's getting amazing reviews, and that's on Netflix this weekend too. That people can just dial up.
First Blood, Danger First Blood.
Nice, well done, VG.
You're gonna need more body bags. Great show, great movie.
And then lastly, I'll leave you with this. Sunday night on Paramount, Tulsa King season 2 starts.
Yeah.
Hey, October 2nd. Mark your calendars, boys. Love is Blind, season 7.
God is reality.
Did you like Tulsa King?
You know what? I really enjoyed the first season, but I know why you made the face you did, because I could just be cool with having one season of that and just enjoyed it, and that's it. It's one of those shows that I don't know if it's going to keep up the same fascination, the same interest going forward. I may have to bail on that one at some point.
He felt like a caricature.
I just thought it was poorly done. Like the family in New York, and then the son and the father, and it was like felt like schlock, right? Like I get him, like the stuff in Tulsa was good. It was the more stuff when they went back to New York. That was bad. Like that was cartoonish.
Yeah. You know? Well, listen. Let's circle back to the point you made at the beginning of this call. Right. Paramount, took that series and put it on CBS, right? Network, throw it on the network. And now I think it's probably going to become more of a network television feel. It's probably not going to be edgy. So I don't know. There's people I know that love it, that are excited about it, but I'll watch it if there's nothing else.
Yeah.
Todd, I've been meaning to talk to you because I saw a trailer. It got me a little excited. I love biopics. So apparently they're making a Saturday night based off the first episode of Saturday Night Live. Have you seen this?
Well, listen, you just touched a nerve, JP. I am an old school diehard SNL guy I watched from the first episode all the way through today. I feel like I grew up with that show, right? And so the movie you're talking about all takes place right before the first episode airs. So it's all about the creation of it and how disruptive that show was. We don't get it today because today there's a million Saturday Night Live type things. But back in the day, it was so novel and so disruptive, and that's what they're covering. So it leads right up to the literal first episode. And I'm excited to see it. I have a feeling it's going to be panned. People are going to not dig it because, there's a lot of people playing some iconic characters in it. But I think if you really understand what it's about, which is how unusual, novel, and disruptive that show was, which, it's hard to say it is today, but it certainly was back in the 70s. I think it's going to be a really cool film.
You know what they should have did, though? They should have made it, because I agree with you. You want to talk about television history. It's one of the most iconic shows ever. They should have did it one of my favorite things they did was the making of the Godfather series. They did a 10-part series. Do you remember that series?
Yeah, The Offer.
Right. They should have did the same thing with Saturday Night Live. They could have done some incredible. Oh my God, that would have been awesome.
Yeah, it would have been.
An hour 49 minutes.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's really a really quick little slice of time, a point in time right before the show comes out. But listen, when I look at the history of that show, it is really incredible. I mean, that show, when it aired in the 70s to begin with, obviously there was no social media, streaming, whatever. And now today, that show even back then is so clippable and streamable. Taking sketches from back in the day would have. Yeah, it's incredible that
the commercials. The mockumentary commercials,
John Belushi, Little Chocolate Donuts, absolutely.
No, it's great stuff.
Scheduled to be released on October 11th.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah, that's good stuff.
I'm excited about it.
I'm in.
All right, Todd, always a pleasure, my brother.
Thanks,
Flyers.
Guys. Let's go Flyers. Let's go Birds. And Phillies. Let's do it all. Everyone.
The Phillies, the Mets in town.
Let's do it.
Thanks, buddy.
See you, Todd.
Appreciate it.
See you guys.
Todd. That's going to do it for us in overtime.
Feels like we've been here 4 hours.
We're 22 minutes of overtime.
Nick from Collegeville gave me the green light, by the way. He texted me and said, it's all right for you to dress up at the Ren Fair.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said
Nick,
it's okay.
he said that?
Yeah, he said
I
go
didn't
for
peg
it.
Nick for a weirdo, but apparently he is.
Oh, man. Dude, well,
can't wait to hear about it Monday.
Yeah,
I'll have pictures for you.
Yeah, I
can't wait.
Thanks, Skeeves. Good stuff. JP, VG, everybody, thank you for hanging with us. We love you guys. Have a great weekend, all right? Enjoy the football and the Renaissance Fair and the Flyers tonight. And, of course, go Phils over the Mets. And we'll come back Monday for a Big Birds Day. Love you guys. Enjoy it.
We all silly like the mayor.